qui demeure sous l'abri du très haut repose à l'ombre du Tout-Puissant. Zala à l'aise.
Oh, balukayo na makambo, bango babosani ke. Hey guys. So, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the program. I just finished eating and doing some other stuff. But anyway, I wanted to quickly talk about, there's some people dragging the name of Ghana, and I just find it interesting because it's like a lot of these people I was speaking about Ghana never been there. So I'm just like, why do you care if you've never been there? Because the only one I know that's been there is Nakmizi. And say what you want about Nakmizi, he's never been able to say that Ghanaians are bad people. He's never been able to say that. Upon everything that he said, he couldn't once tell you that Ghanaians are bad people. But it's like, it's amazing how people who've never been there, you know, never been there, feel so strongly about Ghanaians. And you know what's funny? The whole K&K situation, the woman that went viral for hating Ghana, calling Ghanaians weak and all that, she married one. So it's like, a lot of people are speaking bad about Ghana. They're gonna either live there or marry someone from there. So it's like, to me, it's like, are Ghanaians really that bad? Because there are other African countries that you can go to. You choose not to go there for what, I don't know why, but you choose not to go there. You expect so much from Ghana. I don't know if it's ever occurred to people, but Ghana is not even a big player in the transatlantic slave trade. It's actually not, especially in terms of the context of America. It's really not. So the little that Ghana's doing is actually, I mean, it could do more, but the little that it is doing, it's doing way more than other countries. And it's like, no one ever wants to talk about that. All they want to focus on is what Ghana is not doing. Do you know how many times people bring up, like me personally, right? Do you know how many times people bring up year of return with me? And I'm like, year of return was almost 4 years ago now. That happened 3 years ago. It's getting to 4 years and you're still bringing up year of return. Like, do you have anything else to talk about? Like, is there anything else that you want to bring up? Because at the end of the day, yes, let you tell me or let them tell me that that was so long ago. So what have you been doing since then? Where have you been researching since then? What has been your backup plan other than year of return, which is apparently a money grab? Okay, so what's your alternative? But they never seem to have one. But they always want to bring up year of return as if that was yesterday. It really wasn't. You know what I mean? It's really frustrating sometimes also when you're on these streams and you have people talking about Africans are not doing anything for us. And I'm like, okay, I can at least name 3 African countries that are doing something. But it's like, instead of instead of acknowledging that, then you go like, oh well, that's not enough, that's not enough. It's like, what will be enough? What will I'm really starting to wonder and think, what will actually be enough? You know? Because it's like, instead of focusing on the countries that are doing absolutely nothing, you look at the countries that are doing something and then you sit there and say that they're not doing enough. What are they supposed to do? Heard this argument many times. There needs to be financial reparations. That's not happening. So if you're not interested in that, then I don't know what else would these countries be obliged to do? Like citizenship processes, I see that being worked on, right? And in fact, there are two African countries, Guinea-Bissau and Sierra Leone, that are giving free citizenship. Ghana, it's not impossible to get it, but I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that it's easy to get it either. Anyways, so those are two countries that you can get like automatic citizenship, really. You can. So it's like, what else do people want? I don't, it's like whenever you ask this question, you go like, "Oh, well, we want money." Okay, you're not getting it. What else do you want? An apology? Or when people apologize, you say that the apology is not good, the apology is fake, the apology is not sincere. So what actually do you want? I'm actually really wondering here. Acknowledgement, like what? What do you want at all? What do they want? What do the people that are always complaining about Africans are not doing enough, especially West Africans, what do they need? Because sometimes when I listen to some of these panels, people speak as if like I'm directly responsible for what happened. I'm not. Never said I don't feel bad, but I'm not responsible for it. Like, what do you want? Even though I'm not responsible for it, even though my government's not responsible for it, even though, well, I don't know about my current chiefs, maybe some of them are. Anyways, they didn't directly partake in this. Maybe some of their ancestors did. They apologized on behalf of their ancestors for whatever happened. Like, what do you expect the present generation to do? That's why I don't get. Like, I don't get it. Now, you have some people saying that they want easier pathways to get to African countries, blah, 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 blah. Okay. I mean, that could be worked on. I'll be honest with you. One of the reasons why those pathways don't exist is because a lot of diasporas did not show interest in the African continent to do business in the past. I'll just be honest about that. So when people complain about, oh, well, the Chinese are there, the Lebanese are there, these people showed interest from a long time ago. You're showing interest now in 2022, 2023, and everything is supposed to happen at a drop of a coin. Yeah, no, life doesn't actually work that way. Okay, so people are gonna sit here and be like, "Oh, everything I'm talking about is an excuse," but it's an actual explanation of why certain things haven't happened. So if you want to take it as an excuse, you can go ahead and do that. But I'm explaining to you why. Whenever you ask why this hasn't happened, I can tell you why. Name me, except for even Ghana with this year of return and Ghana with the influx of diasporas. Diasporas have been there, but let me tell you what happened. When Dr. Kwame Nkrumah got disposed, these are the same diasporas that left the country. They went back to America. When Ghana was going through its own issues, the same people that said we love Africa left. So, these countries now are experiencing certain levels of stability, certain levels of security, which I'll put in quotes because I don't want to spook anybody. I don't even want to get into that. Mali knows what we're talking about, but I don't even want to get into that right now. These countries are becoming less vulnerable than they were before in the past, right? Now everybody is flocking to there when these people have fought for the right to protect their borders, the right to protect their nations. Like people have gone through dictatorships. People think that, okay, well, independence happened. You guys had so long. Do people not understand dictatorships happen? Do people not understand civil wars happen? Do people not understand that conflicts happen? Especially during, let's say, my parents' era. Like there were things that happened in Ghana that these modern day people will never know about, right? They'll think that, oh, we were just chilling. We were just chill. We were not just chilling. We're still not. We're still not. But don't get me wrong. It's way better than it was before. I can definitely guarantee you that. So it's kind of interesting how when these countries are doing so good, how after Sierra Leone, when the Sierra Leone Civil War was there, I didn't hear anybody from the diaspora talk about how they can help. Now Sierra Leone is relatively safe. I'd say it's relatively stable. Yes, the economic, outlooks in Sierra Leone could be much better, but whenever I talk about that, you have people tell me they went through a civil war, like, be patient. Okay, fine. No problem. But now that the Civil War, now that all of that conflict is over, now people are going there and expecting things to happen like right now, right this instance. That's so selfish. That is so selfish. When was the American Civil War? I literally don't know. Wasn't it in the 1800s? Okay, that was so long ago. America has moved on and past that. Some of these countries had civil wars like literally 30 years ago, 20 years ago, but no one's talking about when those African countries are supposed to move on. Like no one cares about that. Everyone just cares about everything that's happening today. That is the part that makes me so upset. It's like people just want to see their point of view. They never want to talk about the other point of view. They never want to talk about it. And yes, I brought the Dr. Kwame Nkrumah point to basically highlight that I've seen it before that diasporas have flocked to a country, things did not work out, and they left. I've seen that before. I'm just saying I've seen it before. Okay, so some of these diasporas that are going to some of these countries, what makes me think that they're actually gonna stay? When the country is good for them, they'll stay. When there's like instability, when there's economic hardship, when there's political violence, are they still gonna be there? Like, I love this country so much. Half of them are not, and we know this. We know this. So the disingenuous of the Africans never did nothing for us, I want that to be deaded. I want that to be deaded. Seriously. That narrative needs to go away. Talking about Africans never did anything for us. When were Africans able to do things for themselves? Is that a question you've ever pondered about? Just absolutely, just, it's like entitled. Honestly, Americans in general, right, have this entitlement, and they don't understand that. Like, they, whenever you talk about it, then they get so offended. Like, yeah, no, you're entitled as an American. You're living in a relatively peaceful country. Everything that happened bad in America didn't happen during your time, especially if you're in your 30s or 20s. I know it did not happen during your time. The worst of America, you haven't even seen it, right? But we got people who are literally 20, 30 years old in my part of the continent who've seen the worst. They're still recovering from that. But you always want to equate and say the Africans never did nothing. What are African governments really worried about, to be honest? What are African governments realistically worried about right now? That will probably answer your question as to why the Africans never did nothing for us. Absolutely ridiculous, man. Hi, Bertha. Hi, Mali. Happy New Year. Antisocial Socialite Podcast. Guys, go ahead and subscribe. Honestly, I think African leaders should focus on citizens, not the diaspora. Um, yeah, I think that as well. Because this is the thing, right? People will get so mad at me for saying it, but for an African government, and this is happening in Ghana, by the way, in case you haven't noticed. Well, some aspects of the Ghanaian government. African government focus on the diasporas, right? They focus on the people who are going to give them money. What ends up happening? Inflation. What ends up happening? People can't afford rent because everyone wants to live like an American in Accra. Things like that happen. It's not like I'm speaking from a perspective of somebody who's not experiencing it, right? But there are Ghanaians in Ghana right now talking about how Accra has become so expensive, how this is happening, how that's happening, how the life is changing because they're trying to cater so much to the diasporas and like other investors. And I'm just they're sitting like, this is your country. Like, you should be better off than anyone else, to be honest. You really should. So if things like these are happening, that's not good. Do you get what I mean? Like, that's not, I mean, yeah. So the government needs to have more initiatives to actually help the citizens as opposed to helping the diaspora, basically. Hi. How are you doing? Hi, Juju. America is so peaceful for blacks when um I mean unless you were born in the 1940s, 1950s, 1800s, I'd say it's if you're looking at what's happening in a lot of African countries right now, America is pretty peaceful. Like if you're comparing it to what's happening in other African countries, I'd say it's pretty peaceful right now, to be quite honest. You know, Africa is way peaceful more than America. Um, really? Are you sure? Because, okay, this is the thing about America, right? People will look at shootings and be like, that's the worst of it. Imagine a continent where people get killed and guns aren't as accessible. Like, how do you explain that? Yeah, I mean, I like, okay, fine. If we're talking about from a country to country basis, we can maybe talk about that, but I mean, when you're saying Africa as a whole, when there's countries that are literally in civil wars that have been happening for 20, 30 years, I don't know about saying that they're more peaceful than America. I'm not sure about that narrative. Um, Hi, Shalani, what's going on? What would be karma for selling people into slavery? What exactly is a karma? Because, I mean, listen, I'm not making excuses, but I'm just saying, like, things that are happening in Ghana, other countries have experienced it too, and they apparently didn't sell people into slavery. So I wouldn't just make it as simple as that, a simple argument as that. Oh, for year of return? No, it didn't. Ghana just said, come over there and see Africa, and like that's all. Ghana did not promise anyone citizenships. Ghana did not promise anyone land. Ghana did not promise anyone passports. Ghana did not promise anyone a perfect life. That's what people imagined, and they got disappointed, and that's completely fine. But we also have to remember that year of return, right after year of return was COVID. Like, people don't get that. So a lot of different things were happening as well. um the world was going through a specific moment in time that I just don't think people really have compassion for, when taking into account that. But yeah, like, I mean, Ghana never promised to be like America, so I'm not sure why people were looking for America in Ghana. I'm not sure why they were ever doing that. And then you had some Caribbeans go like, well, why didn't they come to us? We did come to you. You guys did not care. Um, were we as aggressive as coming to you? No. We didn't go to the whole Caribbean, to be fair, but we did come and you guys did not care. So I don't know why you're asking now why Ghana didn't do more initiatives to get the Caribbeans to Africa. I'm not sure why that's a question. I mean, when have Caribbeans, except for maybe Marcus Garvey, but in recent history, when have Caribbeans said that they want to be in Africa like that? Like, they don't talk about it, they just go. So, yeah, like, America got the same issues. They don't know how to worry about their citizens instead of other countries. No one is forcing them to. Yeah, okay. See, this is the thing, right? People are acting as if the Ghanaian government said, you have to come here. You have to come here right now. It was a call for people to go there and chill. And, few actually answered that call. They went there. Some experienced good things, some experienced bad things. There was no promises, there was no letters, there was nothing attached to it. So I don't really understand what the problem is. Like, they asked you to go there. If you didn't like the experience, that's fine. Where did you get scammed and where did you get conned? The ones that usually talk about getting scammed are talking about the ones who went to the market and prices were different. That's usually what they're talking about. So I'm like, okay, I mean, I make $2,000 a year. Someone's coming from America who usually makes $2,000 a month. I charge up my prices. This is so criminal of me, right? This is so bad. This is so hurtful. As if they don't do that to the other people who go to Africa who are not black as well. Like, as if they, anyway, as if they don't even do that to the own Ghanaian diasporas who go back home to visit. When they notice that these people have an accent, they mark up the prices at the market too. That doesn't matter. It only matters when it happens to you. Land scams. Let me talk about land scams. Land scams, I do not feel bad if you go to Africa and you get land scammed, because there are ways, there are processes, there are, see, people are just so lazy and they just don't want to find the right information. There are ways of not getting land scammed. There are actually ways of doing that. Instead of people to research that, they will not research that. buy fake land, which a lot of people could tell you if you're buying fake land. It takes longer, I won't lie. Yes, the process should be changed. It hasn't been changed. I don't think they care about it being changed. So those are kind of the things that you have to prepare for in advance. I mean, what do you expect? What scams are they talking about? Really? Like, I actually don't, like, what scams are they talking about? Thank you. That's what I meant. It's very dangerous. Okay. No, it's fine. I guess America is more dangerous than I thought. Um yeah, that's the thing. Um yeah, that's the thing. It's like, okay, honestly, to anyone saying that Ghana is such a bad country, it's such a bad place to visit, I'm just wondering when they're going to visit somewhere else. You know, there are other African countries in there. You can go and visit somewhere else. You can go somewhere else. There are so many places that want diaspora as well. East Africa is opening up. Why don't people go there, and find what they're looking for? Because clearly these countries are scamming them, right? Clearly these countries are horrible, right? So go somewhere else. That's like, people are making people so frustrated at this point. It's so funny because when people criticize the year of return itself, I actually agree with them. I think it could have been outlined better. I think it could have been executed better. It wasn't. That was 3 years ago. Like, talk about something else. You know, like, I don't get it. Like, you had 3 years to think of a different country to go to, and you didn't. I mean, not to throw shots at other, English speaking West African countries, not to throw shots, but I mean, I've seen it where people go to other English speaking West African countries. They don't seem to be having much of a better time either. So, I mean, realistically, I'd say go to Nigeria. Find a good part of Nigeria, go there, and enjoy your life. You know, but no, they're trying to go to Ghana. They're trying to have America in Ghana. It doesn't seem to be working, and now it's someone else's fault. They're going to Gambia. They're doing, not all of them, but the ones online, at least the ones with YouTube channels, are giving Gambia a really bad name. That's so traumatic. The ones that went to Sierra Leone, some of them got their citizenship from Sierra Leone and are not living in Sierra Leone. They literally went there just to get a citizenship and leave. So it's like, okay, like, what really do you, like, at this point, did you want the citizenship to live there? Did you want the citizenship to invest there? Or did you just want the citizenship to have it? I'm assuming you just wanted the citizenship to have it. So if that's the case, if these African countries just offer citizenship for you to have it, wouldn't that solve the problem? I mean, what else do we need to talk about coming together? What else do we need to talk about? You need to go and live there and know the people. If you're just gonna grab a citizenship and leave. And then when you talk to some of them about it, they'll be like, well, that's my right. That's my ancestral right. Yeah, it's your ancestral right to get a citizenship and disappear and not deal with the country's problems. That's interesting. No, so much love, so much about Black love, so much about. Anyway, um, who are the people complaining? There's plenty of people. Plenty. Come on, you've heard the whole Ghanaians are scammers. Ghanaians are scamming Black Americans. The year of return was. I know you've heard. You must have heard that online before. That Ghanaian, and I'm saying Ghanaian specifically because I'm honestly just talking about the context of Ghana. But you've heard them say that Ghanaians are scammers, this, that. And it's like what did they do? What did they ever do? Like, I don't get it. They're one of the only countries that actually talked to them, welcomed them, offered an apology, did something. But then they're also the worst country out there, you know? So I find it really interesting. Uh yeah, it is. It's really sad. Um Prince Dynastamir, Search for Uru, is a great example of having a Nigerian citizenship, having a Sierra Leone citizenship, and no one knows what he's doing with those citizenships. And I would say Prince Dynastamir is also a good example of showing people how to get a Sierra Leone citizenship. And a lot of people who know him, even on these YouTube spaces, have received those Sierra Leone citizenships, but they don't live in Sierra Leone. You know, the weird part is a lot of them get the citizenship. Um, they get the citizenship and then they move to another African country. So I was like, why didn't you apply for a citizenship of the African country you're living in? But whatever. Like, I clearly I don't understand that dynamic, so I'm not gonna probe too much on it because I don't. Yeah, I mean, African citizenships to me, most of them are useless, just from my perspective. But if it makes people feel better for having one, then I guess go ahead and get one. Go ahead and get one. Peace. How is African citizenship useless? In the context of the global sphere, I'd say they're pretty useless. I mean, maybe South African citizenship is okay, but or Kenyan citizenship, but most of these other citizenships, I don't know. Other than being born there, and I guess being able, you don't even need a citizenship to do business in a lot of African countries. So really, what's the usefulness in African citizenships? Seriously, I don't actually, because some of these African countries, if you're using your African citizenship to travel, you'll be restricted to other countries. there are a global currency or global value on citizenship. So let's not act like all citizenships are equal. Like, we don't need to act like that. I know it's a sensitive subject, but we don't need to act like all citizenships are equal. They're not. Sentimentally, there may be some that are more important to others, but in the grand scheme of things, there are some citizenships that are way harder to attain than other ones. And that's basically what I mean by that. Um, I think citizenship is just symbolic. 400 years ago, coming back home is deep. Okay. I mean, that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, that's fine, you know. Um see, I don't have a problem with that. You know what I mean? It's just you being honest and saying that that country is not for you, that's fine. But it's like, that what I don't like is when people just want to negatively speak on the initiatives of that country when there are so many other countries that, I mean, people act as if Ghana acted alone. Like, people just want to act like it's just Ghana. Like, there are so many other countries that did the exact same thing and they're mute, and they never get any criticism, but it just happens to always be Ghana that gets the most criticism. I find that to be very interesting. Um oh, is it? Okay, that makes sense because nobody's trying to go there. Okay, if anyone has anything to say, I'll drop link. I kind of just said what I wanted to say. But yeah, I still didn't get the answer to my question. What are African countries, the ones who participated in the slave, in the slave trade especially, what are those countries supposed to do about the diaspora? Because people always have so much to say, and I'm sitting here asking what these countries are actually supposed to do. I think, to start, maybe an apology would be great. There are many countries who have already done that. Reparations, like I mentioned multiple times, are not happening. um Land, there are some countries that, believe it or not, they are giving away free land. What do people expect from these countries? Okay, 1 second, King James, I'm gonna add you to the stream. Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Nothing much, how are you?
How are you? Who's over here criticizing? Who said Ghana was scamming?
Are you serious right now?
Now I'm asking because I saw the title.
There's a so many there are so many people that are criticizing Ghana. Are you serious? So
What
many
did they
people.
what did they say Ghana was scamming? What was Ghana
They
scamming?
said that the year of return was a scam.
Oh yeah, I've been hearing that. They're saying that it's just to boost tourism dollars.
I mean, okay. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and act like that's not true. You know, there was
Yeah, but it's a beneficial thing to both sides. Let me explain something to
yeah,
you.
yes, beneficial to both
Anything
sides,
that
yeah.
you, yeah, especially growing up here in America, anything that you do, because the target was to basically, yes, boost tourism dollars, but it's beneficial to both sides. And, it's not like it's not benefiting both, you know. It's that's not scamming. That's just it's supposed to. It's just people just complain because they love to complain. That's all it is. People just want to run their mouth all the time.
Yeah, it's really, honestly, it's just really hurtful to hear these type of things because
It is
I don't
very
know.
hurtful. Like, I remember the first time I heard it, it's like, oh, that it was just a scam. They were just trying to boost tourism dollars. I was like, bro, we really went all out to like, make a home for people to come back to. Like, there was a lot of work that went into it. There was a lot of hard work that went into it. Trust me, I know it. I know firsthand because, one, I'm Ghanaian, and two, I work at the United Nations. I can tell you firsthand that they put in a lot of work. It wasn't some like Monday, Tuesday, and then they just wrapped up things really quickly. And oh, if they get here, we're just gonna play some drums and rap Kente cloth, and then that's it. No, they put in real work. Yeah, but yeah, I know people run. That's how black folks are. That's how black people are in general. It's just, oh, it was a scam. Oh, all right, bro. Well, you could just go back to where you came from then, since it was a scam. What the hell?
No, but okay. So how do you feel about? Because like I have nothing against Caribbeans, right? Like I really, it's not my Jamaicans are not my favorite cup of tea personally, but Caribbeans as a whole, I have nothing against them. But there was some Caribbeans that were like, "Why did you guys only reach out to African Americans? Like you guys did not
They've
reach
been
out."
saying that. They've been saying that. It's a what's his name thing because most of the Caribbeans are they've been saying that. I live in New York. They've been saying that for a long time. Even some of my friends from Trinidad and Jamaica was saying that, why did we only give it out to, like, it looks like we were just targeting because technically we've been repeating it for a long time. We said black Brazilians. We said, the president said it. Akufo been saying it for a long time. He said black Brazilians, African Americans, and anybody from the Caribbean. You understand what I'm saying? But they did. I would say one thing though. They did not do a good job. It's kind of been really targeting a lot of African Americans. They kind of really are really kind of. It looks like we are targeting African Americans, but the funny thing about it is that from an international point of view, they should actually be targeting more Caribbean people. Here's the reason why. Caribbeans don't have a wedge between us and them when it comes to coming on a continent. Even when I was a kid, they used to run up and down into Ghana all the time. It's a bunch of Trinidadians that own businesses in Ghana. Like I grew up across the street from people from Barbados in Ghana. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Like if you grew up here in America, convincing American people or Black Americans to come to Ghana or not come to Ghana, come to Africa, boy, it turns into a math problem. It turns into a science problem. They start shaking like a leaf. They start shaking like a leaf. It was a real struggle to kind of put this whole thing together because most African Americans, when you start talking about Africa, it looked like they're having a heart attack. It's like, do you want me to call 911 now or really Africa? Yeah, Africa. Yeah, Africa. But what about all the zebras and lions over? It's like, oh, I mean, some of the biggest ignorance I was hearing when I was like, so, brother, you really from Africa? Yeah, I'm from Africa. So what about all the lions running through the hotel? What about what about the zebras when I get to the airport? Is the zebras gonna attack me? Man, yeah, it was they. Yeah, I'm happy to see that the ignorance is definitely leaving them, and it's a beneficial thing. But they should it's beneficial for people with good mindsets. You understand what I'm saying? Because I know personally some brothers that have went into some of the African American brothers I went to school with, they went into Ghana and they built $1 million businesses in Ghana, like in just less than 2 years. So it's not what do you call it? If you have we just need to we need the right people to come to Ghana. I just don't want anybody rolling in. I don't want them to just bring some of the most lowest of the scummiest of our earths into our country. Because at the end of the day, it's not no secret. Ghana has always been the shining star of Black Africa. You understand what I'm saying? Like we are a model compared to those other nations. I mean, I'd be shitting on other African countries all day just to let them know.
No, I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. That's why
Yeah.
when some people complain about what Ghana is doing or what Ghana is not doing, like, have you heard of other countries,
Ain't
especially
nobody
West
doing
Africa?
it.
Have
Ain't
you heard
nobody
of them?
doing it. Yeah. They know ain't nobody really reaching out. Nobody's really doing some like I'll tell you one thing though. I know Liberia and Sierra Leone, they do have an easier process to get citizenship. But guess what? Ain't nobody trying to go to Liberia nor Sierra Leone. Like I never heard of a person say, you know something? Why don't we go to Sierra Leone for vacation? Ain't nobody doing that. Like nobody does that. Nobody, you know something? I'm bored. Let's go to the airport and jump on a plane, go to Liberia. Do we love our brothers and sisters from the other diaspora? Yeah, without a doubt. I love, everybody in the African continent, but ain't nobody checking for those other nations like that because they don't have a history with African Americans. The reason why people, let me explain something to you. A lot of people don't know, but the reason why people are actually going to Ghana is because of the check-in system. You know what the check-in system is?
No, what is that?
The check-in system is basically, a lot of people don't know, through the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, Ghanaians are notoriously known to check in with African Americans when it come into America. You can find anywhere in the tri-state area all the way down to Atlanta or basically Ohio and Texas. There is not one African American person when you question them about Ghanaians, they'd be like, "Oh, you from Ghana?" I have every African American damn near has a Ghanaian friend. So when this thing popped off, it had to be Ghana. It couldn't have been anybody else. It's either Ghana or Nigeria. The reason why the problem in Nigeria is that the safety, the security is bad over there. They would have been a perfect situation for this whole return to Africa thing, but their security system is not. I mean, you could get kidnapped before you even get to the country. Like, it goes down over there in Nigeria. It's a wonderful place. I actually just went to Nigeria not too long ago. I was there like last month. I spent a couple of days in Lagos. I've been going there since I was 15, but the problem with Nigeria is the security. Like security is real, it's backwards over there. It's some they have a great time. You will have a wonderful time when you go to Nigeria, but the problem is that, it's not it's their security is just not up to par. It's really not up to par. Anything can happen when you're over there. Like anything can pop off. I remember I was actually in Nigeria. I think I was in high school or something like that when the captain of the Nigerian soccer team, they kidnapped his dad, and they were asking for $5 million ransom, and everybody was like, "Wait, hold on." The whole captain of the Nigerian national, like, what are you doing? Like, how you gonna kidnap somebody's father? What's what's wrong with you? But yeah, that thing was kind of hurtful though. I was like, damn, they really going in. Like, what do you want Ghana to do? We've already done. Ain't nobody else reaching out.
Yeah, we don't. Ghana's done so much. Honestly, Ghana's done so much. Like,
Yeah,
yes, we haven't given out the citizenships, but I mean, we do give out citizenships. We haven't given out citizenship by DNA. But
yeah,
if we're talking about policy, we've done that. If we're talking about land, we've done that. Like, what else?
yeah.
What else are people expecting? I don't
Some
get it.
some here's the problem too. Some people don't know Ghana's history. If you don't study well and you're not born on a continent or raised on both sides, you won't even. Let me tell you something that a lot of people don't know. Ghana's been giving out land since the 80s. A lot of people didn't know that. Back in the day, Minister Farrakhan used to have regular meetings with the Ghanaian chiefs, and this was in the 80s. So he would go around from country to country, and a few responded and some didn't. That's why a lot of people don't know there's a sector of African Americans that live in South Africa. They went over there after Mandela was released out of prison. He invited them, and they became really, really wealthy. Like there's African Americans that live in South Africa. They live in good. They've been living there since like the 1980s or the 1990s and stuff like that. And some of the chiefs in Ghana, they were literally giving out land. They proposed to give out land to African Americans. Some of them came, some of them didn't. I remember as a kid, I used to see HBCU students in Ghana. This is during the 90s. So, we've done enough. I really hope they're not coming down there acting crazy, because ain't nobody else doing nothing for nobody. Like, they really not reaching out to them. Like I said, is it cool? Is it cool to, get citizenship in Liberia and Sierra Leone? Do they make it easy? Yeah, they make it easy, but the truth is they make it easy because they ain't got no choice. People complain that Ghana, our citizenship process is hard. It's supposed to be hard. Ghana's we're a shining star of Africa. Like, we're literally top notch. If it was easy, as the Americans say, if it was easy, anybody would do it. Yeah, it's hard because Ghana is a dope place. Like, our ancestors have worked overly hard to make Ghana what it is. Like, we've put in blood, sweat, and tears to, put Ghana in front of the map. It wasn't a one-day process. It was a lot of sacrifice. So we ain't just gonna have anybody running up in the spot and saying, "Hey, I want a passport." No, you gonna wait and you gonna do things the right way. It's not gonna be that easy. They giving out passports like hotcakes in these other countries. Like, I have a Kenyan passport. I have a Kenyan passport. I got my Kenyan passport in 7 days. They gave me a Kenyan passport. Like,
No, are you
oh yeah.
serious?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Because they lax. Ain't nobody. They not really about that life like that. Like, they're not really. Is Kenya a great spot? Yeah, it's a great spot. But trust me, ain't nobody really shining like us. So I hate this thing. Like, I was really upset. Then, oh, y'all was doing that for tourism dollars. Yeah, we were doing it for tourism dollars, but it's beneficial to you too. Like, don't sit around and act a fool, man. Like, it was so sad when I was like, bro, we really, really were putting in work to invite people to. Man, I don't know, man. You can't satisfy everybody. That's just what it is.
Honestly, Ghanaians. I love how you're Ghanaian, because like it's so, it feels so great to just say that Ghanaians are great people. You know what I mean? It just feels so
Yeah,
great to say that, because Ghanaians are so humble. Do you know what I mean? Like, Ghanaians are so humble. Like, I'm not saying that we don't do what other African countries do. Of course we do. Like, of course there are bad people in Ghana. There are, scams. There are downsides. But when you compare Ghana to other African countries, it's really not that bad. But it's like
yeah,
every little thing that Ghana does, people always want to like harp on it. Like,
yeah.
other countries do it too, but maybe they don't get as much publicity, so people don't even know, you know. So, but
Our
during the
gift is
year of
also.
return, how did you feel about the vaccination? How do you feel about that? Because I think that was another point that made
Are you
people
sure you
really
want to talk
mad
about
when.
that? Because that gets kind of dicey.
Oh, okay,
Now I'm
okay.
saying,
Say it in
did you want to talk
general
about it? Because it
without.
gets kind of dicey.
Hmm?
Okay, so we'll just say
Yeah,
the
we
jab
can
then.
briefly
We'll
talk
just
about
say
it.
the
Yeah, yeah, the jab. Okay, yeah.
yeah. So yeah. So what were you saying about it?
People were upset when Nana Akufo-Addo made it mandatory to get the jab before you enter the country.
I mean, it's a safety precaution. What did you want? What's the problem? It's a safety precaution. It's not like, I think sometimes, you know what it is too. People think that they're going into an African country and they see it as it's a respect thing. So it's like, oh man, why I gotta go? Why I gotta get a jab to go to a third world country? Like, bro, it's a respect thing. Like, why are you upset? You got to follow rules of engagement when you go to other people's countries. So follow the rules when you come to Ghana. That's why I said I'm glad that we're doing this thing, this back to return thing. But we have to be very careful with the way we vet people. I don't want everybody coming there. I really don't. Like, I don't want some strange, you know, undisciplined characters walking into our country. We worked really hard to make Ghana what it is. It's a safe haven for a lot of people. Everybody and their mama run to Ghana when something pops off. Like, literally, when something pops off in Liberia, they pack up they bags and they come to Ghana. Something crazy happens in Nigeria, they pack their bags up and come to Ghana. When something crazy, look at what happened in Burkina Faso a couple of years ago. They packed up and came to Ghana. Sierra Leone, the same thing. Mozambique, the same thing. Everybody is seeing Ghana as, hey man, those people across the street, they wonderful people. Let's just go and chill with them. So have respect. It took us a long time to get here. Have respect.
Yeah, I agree. There are some other African countries, no offense, but I mean, when you look at their history, like half of it is civil wars, and I'm just like, well, you know what? People actually make fun of Africans who never had civil wars and say that, oh, you guys are not strong. No, you
Yeah.
guys are not strong. You guys are not about
Yeah.
that life.
Did,
And
did
I'm
you ever
just
know?
like,
Did you ever notice that? It's like
yeah,
since we
it's
never
like,
had,
okay, so
we never
because I
had,
decided not
no,
to
we,
massacre my brothers and sisters, then I'm not strong. Okay,
I'm
I
not
don't know
strong.
what
Yeah,
that means.
people make fun of Ghanaians for that. Oh man, y'all are so soft. Y'all never had a civil war before. Okay. Are you is that like bragging rights right there? It's like what? Yeah, man. That's the black yeah, that's black folks mindset right there. That's a black mentality mindset right there. Look at you. You've never had a war before. Okay, thank God. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for reminding us that we're peaceful people. Like, what is your problem? You mad that we never chopped off each other's hands and heads before? Like, where did where okay, where they do that at? Psycho.
And and I said this before, my views are slowly changing. But initially, I said that if I want to work with some Africans, I'd probably choose to work with the ones that haven't had civil wars because we get each other, like we understand. Know what I mean? That's why I like Kenyan. I like to make fun of Kenyans, but I actually like them because I see
Yeah.
them as like civilized. You know what I mean? So coup d'etats,
They are they
military coup d'etats are not the same as civil wars.
yeah,
Coup
yeah, I
d'etats
can see a lot of
is political instability. You know, that's what
yeah.
it mostly is. It's not like I don't like this other tribe, so we're gonna get rid of them. That's completely different.
Yeah. And our coup d'etats was I don't even want to brag about it, but our coup d'etats were a whole lot better than some of these other countries. Over there in Burkina Faso, they got a coup d'etat on every Friday. Sometimes they schedule it. Sometimes they got a coup d'etat like literally every Friday night. Like, who's it gonna be this time? It's like I might be president next week. You never even know. I'm thinking about getting my own coup going.
Let me add. mm, Hey Zulu, FBA Coast. African Americans buy real estate in the Caribbean and Latin America. Yeah, I actually have nothing against Kenya. Um, I'd say that Kenya is a shining star as well. But,
Have you been to Kenya
I'm
before?
gonna big up my country too because no one, I mean, there comes times when you have to do that.
Have you been to Kenya before?
I've been invited so many times, but no, I haven't been. But
You would be
I'm familiar with Kenya. I'm
Yeah, you'd
familiar.
be very surprised actually. They are Kenya is really really dope. Like when I went there, it blew my mind. I was like, yo, because we if you from Ghana, you gonna brag about Ghana every 5 seconds because you know we do carry the champion status real hard. But Kenya's really good. Like they do a good. There's some places when you go to Kenya, it make Ghana look like a Section 8 housing.
God.
Trust me.
Yes, I
Hey,
heard of
bro,
it.
what's up, J Bones? How you doing, man? Oh, my bad. I almost got you.
Westlands is Anglo
Yo,
fan.
yo,
It's Westlands. It's Eastleigh, right? It's the
yo,
West Rivers Mall.
Zulu,
I heard about Kenya. Come on now.
Zulu, where you been, bro?
Bro, I've been up in Uganda, bro. Like that's where I've really been at. Like I've been loving it, dude. Like
Oh, Zulu, you went to Africa?
Bro, your mic is
bro,
bad.
Oh, my bad. Did you say my mic or my?
No, Zulu, your mic, it's like cutting in and out.
He's definitely in Uganda because that Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi. President U70, President U70 just pulled
Oh,
out
go
the
see
plug in
my
the
auntie.
back.
My auntie. Say it again.
Now, Zulu, you cutting off, bro. Your Wi-Fi, you cutting off. Your signal's real bad.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go get on my computer then. I don't know if I break up again. I'm just going to go to my computer and do that. So, but let me know if it does it again. But
Okay.
But basically, when I was in the U.S., right, and I met like a local Ghanaian, like literally, the hospitality was so goddamn nice. It was mind boggling. He even set me up. He was like, "Hey, come to my sister's house. Come to my house. You can set up there. You don't have to worry about what is it, any budget and stuff like that." He literally made sure I was good. He made sure I was good. So like.
Oh, Charlie.
Yeah. So Wi-Fi in your cry.
And yet, Charlie, yo, Lazulu, go on your computer. I want to hear what you're saying. And you were talking about Ghana. That really interests me.
Yeah, that's
Because I think
what's
Lazulu
his
went
name?
to Ghana. Lazulu, I think, went to Ivory Coast as well. So that's
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one thing that I'm definitely pushing. Like I've been one thing about it is that I'm off that whole going to Ghana every summer thing or every 5 second thing. Like I've been having so much fun just really rolling around. I tell people all the time, we really have to treat, Africa like white folks treat road trips in America. Like I went to Botswana, I went to Swaziland, which is of course they call it Eswatini, Zimbabwe, Kenya. I was in Liberia. I've been having so much fun to really actually rolling around and going into other different countries, like different African countries. Like even when I was a kid, like back in the 90s, I used to go to Burkina Faso before things, got really bad over there as it is right now. You got to treat you. We have to start treating, some of the African countries like white folks treat road trips here in America. You really have to go and see what other people are doing. You'll have so much fun when you go to, when you go to other people's countries too. They got a lot of stuff going on.
My bad, man. I had to go to my actual computer because I don't know, these phones out here is acting funny. But yeah, I wanted to know where did y'all hear me up and where did I kind of drop off at? Because I couldn't tell.
Zulu, you was talking about. I think you said you went to Uganda or something like that, right?
Yeah. I was in Uganda and I went through Tanzania. Then I went to Mombasa real quick. Then I had to come back because, I couldn't necessarily stay over there for too damn long. I stayed there for almost 3.5 months, bro. Almost 3 months. So it was
That's
a nice
good.
experience.
That's good,
And
man.
how were
I
your experiences?
Say it again.
How were your experiences?
There was okay. My overall experience was it was great. Not gonna say great, but it was okay. When I first got there, I didn't know any Lugandan or any Swahili, so they was beating my ass with the prices on a local market. Me, I like to go to like where the people are at. So they was killing me. It was like 5 shillings for tomatoes, and I'm thinking it's like a regular price, and it's like you're supposed to get like 6 shillings. No, you get like 6 tomatoes for 1 shilling. They was hitting me up real good that first week I was there. Oh, I was licked. When I mean I was a lick, they was out there. They was getting me good, man. But after I kind of started talking to some of the local people and whatnot, it got real easy for me to kind of navigate the city and navigate the space. Because especially when you got a local guide or a local lady who know the price of the food and and all the other these small cities that kind of go through the country, it got easier to navigate. A lot easier to navigate.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'm definitely trying to go to Kenya and visit South Africa as
You
well.
guys check
Like
out.
I'm trying to see different things.
You guys check out Tanzania too when you get a chance. You're gonna have a great time. Tanzania
Oh
was
yeah,
it was
Tanzania was amazing, dude. Like I love there. I went to Uganda, I went to Tanzania, and then I went into Kenya, but I didn't really go too far. I'm not gonna lie to you. I went near like it was like a port city near the Great Lakes. I went near there. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, it was pretty good. And like I say, when it comes to like Ghanaians in general, these people are so hospitality. They have such good hospitality. It's amazing. Like when I actually thought about going to Ghana, there was a guy I knew at my work, at my job. He was like, "Well, you know, you can definitely stay at my house." I'm like, "No, I can't do that." He was like, "No, you stay at my house."
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Like most of the African Americans that come into Ghana, that I grew up with them in Jersey, as soon as they tell me they want to come to Ghana, I'll just call. I'll call back home and tell them. It's normal. You'll just tell somebody to come pick them up at the airport. They be thinking you playing. I'm like, no, you can stay at my crib. You don't even need to go to a hotel.
Yeah, and that flipped me out the most though, because like for me, I'm not used to that level of hospitality from anybody. So when he was like, "Yeah, go stay at my house," and like my sister will come pick you up, and I'm sitting here like we only known each other for like 6 months. It was like, "No, you're good, you okay." And for me, that's why necessarily one of my places that I really, really want to go to and stay at for at least maybe 2-3 months is Ghana. I thought about going to Nigeria, but I don't want to get kidnapped, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I got respect for Nigerians on a personal level, but between me going to one place necessarily and all the things I heard about it, I'm like, I don't know, bro. I'm not trying to get caught up.
I'm not trying to bash them, but it's like if you go to a place like Nigeria, you have to have somebody with you that really knows the ground. You understand what I'm saying? It's like when you're a kid, like when I was a kid, we used to go to Brooklyn. My friends would be like, "Yo, don't go into Bed-Stuy by yourself, or don't go into Bushwick by yourself. Like, you got to know somebody that knows."
You was deep out there, then, man.
Oh yeah. It's you have a lot of fun in Nigeria. It's a lot. I mean, it's a big place. There's a lot of stuff to do there, but the only thing about it is that you have to have genuine people who's going to show you around.
I don't know. For me, I'm kind of like this. I'm frisky, so like I'm more scared of me going to Nigeria. Somebody ends up saying something, doing something to me, and I start like an international incident. So I'll be like, for me, that's why I just went to Uganda anyway. Like I'm not gonna lie to you, Uganda was perfect for me. I walked around, I saw the place. I've been working on my Ugandan since I left that place. So it's like, for me, that's probably where I'm gonna be at, either there or Tanzania or maybe Cameroon. God, honestly, crazy enough, man. I'm thinking about going there, out of West Africa. I'm thinking Cameroon, or maybe I may check out Ghana just to see how it is. But those are the 4 places I'm really looking at, considering actually settling down and building my house, building my business, buying my land, and everything else. That's what I'm really looking at.
Okay, I do have a question about that. Before the Afro Diaspora news, did you have anything to add?
Yes, and I just want to say hello to everyone on the panel, and I'll get right to it because I don't want to take too much time up. I have to say this: it's problematic, and I don't want to change the direction of the conversation, but I have to say this: there are many Africans that live in the United States. They are against African Americans not only traveling to Africa, but also African Americans traveling to Africa and obtaining citizenship in the African nations that we reside in and descend from. The reason I bring this up is because this is imperative, and this is the last thing I'm going to say in conclusion. It is imperative that not just African Americans, Afro diasporans obtain citizenship by descent in the countries in Africa that we descend from. Because if we don't, then we are complicit in relinquishing our ancestral land rights to the Asians that are in Africa right now, the Chinese, the Pakistanis, the Indians, etc. So really, my advice, respectfully and humbly, African Americans and Afro diasporans, if you took your DNA test and you know which particular African nations in Africa that you descend from, call the embassies and put pressure on them to grant Afro diasporan citizenship by descent. But literally, that's all I really wanted to say, and I appreciate you allowing me up.
Okay, I
Appreciate you.
got a few things I'm gonna say. I'm gonna go. Then I'm gonna let King James go, aka I know the other name, but you know, basically I'm gonna tell you two things. Well, the first thing, right? The first thing is you can't just come up to nobody's country and say I just want to get in. And I understand.
But brother, it's our
Hold on, let me
country
finish. Hey,
too,
bro,
brother.
hold on. You talked and then nobody interrupts you.
You're right, but it's our country
And
too.
no.
Be honest.
Hey, bro, be a grown up.
But
There we
brother,
go.
let's
Right?
being a grown up is being
Dude,
honest,
be a grown up. Let you
So
talk.
being a grown
No
up
one,
is being
you
honest,
talk
brother.
and no one interrupted you.
I
Bro.
know, but I didn't lie.
Do you not know
Me
respect?
and you are not the same. I didn't
Do
lie.
you not
You're
respect?
lying.
Do you not understand respect, dude?
No, brother. I'm gonna
Do
allow
you
you
not
to speak,
understand respect, bro?
but don't lie.
Do you not
And
understand? Do
I'm
you
muting up
not
right now.
understand respect, bro? Thank you. It's simple as this, man. You cannot come to anybody's country and say I want to get what is the citizenship just because I have DNA there. I understand, but your feelings towards it. But like any place, you don't know. It could be anybody who can come back and say, "Oh yeah, since I got DNA here, I should get here." For all you know, they could be moving guns.
Do you know
drugs.
what ancestral land
Dude,
rights are?
why do you not understand the
No, just
option
answer
of
that
respect,
question,
bro?
brother, because time is valuable. Do you know
Bro,
what ancestral land rights are?
okay.
I'm asking, brother, respectfully. Let's not argue, brother. We're family. Do you know what
you already
ancestral land
lost
rights
respect
are?
because you're not letting me
Brother,
talk, dude.
let's
You're
be
not letting me
calm,
talk.
brother.
You're not letting me talk.
Respectfully, brother,
You're
and I
not
got
letting
love
me
for
talk.
you. All
You're
right,
not letting
I'm
me
gonna
talk.
mute up again, but I'm asking, do you know
Nah,
what
bro, I don't give a
ancestral
fuck no
land
more.
rights
Cause
are?
now
And I'm gonna
because
mute
you
up.
don't want to be respectful. I ain't gotta be respectful to you, bro. It's simple. Just because you have DNA doesn't necessarily guarantee that you should have the right to come back there. But if you necessarily,
Yes, but address the ancestral land rights part too, though.
bro, don't nobody give a fuck about your ancestral
No, you
land,
don't.
bro.
And
Don't
you gonna
nobody
fight
give a
for them,
fuck
and
about
that's
that,
your
bro.
problem, brother.
Bro,
That's a you
don't
problem. That's not
nobody
a
give
me
a fuck
problem.
about your
That's a you
ancestral,
problem,
bro.
brother. And that's not a
I'm
me
telling you,
problem.
bro.
Just because you're too cowardly to fight for your ancestral
Who
land
got
rights,
the
that's not
5-year-old
me,
on here,
brother.
bro?
Brother, that's
Bro,
you, brother. I got love for you, but that's you, brother. That's a you
you
problem.
don't nobody. The people that's over there don't give a fuck about your ancestral
No,
land.
you don't care, and that's that.
The people
You
over
won't
there don't
stand
give a
up.
fuck.
So if they don't
Bro,
care,
you
that means you
can't make
shouldn't
them
care.
give you no
Hold
land.
on, brother.
Can
So
you
if they
make
don't
them
care,
give
that
you
means
some
you
land,
shouldn't
bro?
care. Slow
Can you
down.
make them give you
So
some land?
since they don't care, that means you shouldn't care.
Can you
That means
make
you
them
shouldn't
give you
fight for
some
your
land?
ancestral land rights, brother.
Why
Slow down. I'm asking
can
respectfully.
you
Does that
make
mean that
them
you
give
should
you some
not
land,
fight for
bro?
your ancestral land rights? I'm asking.
Can you make them
I'm
give you some
asking,
land?
brother. I'm
Now
asking,
I'm asking
brother.
you a simple
Does
question.
that mean that you should not fight for your
Can
ancestral land
you
rights?
make
Answer
them
that.
give you some land?
Okay, wait. Okay, so
All
let's
right, brother.
let's go ahead.
All right, like I said, I appreciate what you want to do, but if you going back to necessarily to the continent, you should look at what's necessarily continent is going to give you the what country is going to give you the best economical return on your investment, right? Unless you just want to go there and just live, live and die, that's fine. But if you really should go going over there, you should necessarily save some money, get some skills, or bring whatever necessarily specific skill that you go. Well, I'll say first go to the country and visit, find a country that you want to visit, and then find a country that is going to give you the best economical return on your investments. And that's how you should necessarily make your decision for coming back to the continent, not just on some DNA, because you may go, you may have a
yes, sir.
dude, like,
but brother,
damn, do you understand patience, bro?
What about your ancestral land rights, brother? Are you not
Bro,
fighting for them?
don't nobody give a fuck, bro. Don't
So
nobody over that continent gives a fuck
All right,
about your
next subject,
ancestral
brother.
land
They're
fight,
not
bro.
going to fight for your ancestral land rights. I guess you don't have
Don't nobody
testosterone.
care, bro.
That's that. I guess you have no testosterone. That's that, brother. The white man beat it out you. The white
Bro,
man whipped it out you. You have the
bro,
post-traumatic slave syndrome disorder. You chose night.
bro.
And
Do
I
you
mean,
know
you
how
choose
fucking
not to
you know
fight
how
for your
big I
ancestral
am,
land
bro?
rights.
If you would say this to my face, you know I would rip your throat out. Like why?
But why won't you rip
I
the white
love
man throat
internet
out?
niggas.
But brother, why won't you rip the
Internet
white man
Negroes
throat out?
are
Brother, why
the
won't you rip
greatest
the
thing.
white
I
man
swear
throat
to
out?
God, bro. Like I
All right,
said,
last question. Why won't
I
you rip
don't
the
answer
white man
questions
throat
to
out?
you, bro.
Brother, respectfully, I got love for you. Why
Nah,
won't you rip the
we ain't
white
gotta
man
do that
throat
no more,
out?
bro. We ain't
Why
gotta do that
won't
no
you
more.
rip the Chinese man throat out?
Nah,
Why
we good
won't
on
you
that,
rip the
bro. We
Arabian
good on
man
that,
throat
bro.
out? You
We good
really
on
that
that.
much of a coward? You rather
But
fight
like
your
I
own
said,
family,
bro,
huh? That's why
it's
Africa's
quite
colonized
simple,
today.
bro.
You would rather
It's
fight your own
quite
family.
simple.
You're a
If
coward,
you
brother,
want to
and I
go,
got love for you.
well, I
Respectfully.
ain't got
We'll
love
talk
for you
after
though,
this.
bro.
It's all good.
I ain't got love for you, bro.
It's all good, brother.
okay.
I damn sure ain't got
Fair
love for you, bro. So, like I said, those should be the things that you should necessarily do if you're going to go back to these countries, right? You should look at them. So, where you gonna get your best economical return on investment? What country best suits your personal lifestyle?
If you're going over there just to live and die, that's fine. I mean, ain't nobody going, it is what it is. But if you're going down there necessarily to better yourself, better your condition for yourself and your family, that's what you should probably do. If they actually do give you some DNA rights or whatever, that's cool. Take those opportunities. I mean, like, and then what I think was it Libya? No, it was not Libya. What is it? Liberia? I think it's Liberia. I think they're doing that if you want to go for it. But just make that decision wisely and actually make the best decision that's going to be for you and for your children and descendants. Oh, now you don't want to talk,
brother. I'm hearing you out, brother.
Took you like 45 minutes. Go ahead now.
Well, literally, I said I had literally everything I wanted to say. I said it. Much love to you all. I'm an exit now, but keep doing the positive work, African millennial, because you are unifying the African world. But peace to all the panelists. Much love.
No problem.
Man,
These dudes got like the.
I'm gonna tell you.
I don't want these motherfuckers coming with me, bro. I don't want these motherfuckers coming with me, bro.
I'm
like
gonna tell you, I don't think I've ever been on a panel with Zulu and he didn't start a fight with somebody. I don't think it
What?
There's never been a time where Zulu has never started a fight with somebody. It does.
Bro, they start fights with me, bro. They
Zulu
start
wake up in the morning and hit that. He hit that StreamYard ready to go.
I don't. But no, bro. I'm telling you, it's just certain people just come out here. They just be ready for them hands, and I be like, bro, you got to. Like me and Charles got one thing. We are your Huckleberry. If you want to try that shit, like I'm that guy, bro. I'm really that guy, bro. I told you, bro, I'm a Georgia native, bro. Like, but please don't try me, bro. But no, I'm saying if you really do want to go back to the continent, I think that is a good thing. But I tell people, bring a skill with you though, a hard skill and a soft skill, like hard skill. You know how to build houses. You know how to be a machinist. You know how to be a plumber. You know how to be an electrician. Things like this will help you, or HVAC, or a master HVAC. But okay, what was it? I mean, not certification, but make your skill set, whatever. Right? If you can take those with you, and you can actually make a lot of money in these countries. You can help to build the infrastructure, and you can actually start you a company. Like these are things that I think my people really need to understand if they truly want to go back to the continent and actually make a difference and actually have a decent quality of life. Not just I'm just gonna come back there and just I got blood rights. Okay, cool, but now you still broke and you still in a new land, but you broke. So.
Well, thanks to JB Jones is saying Ghana forever, Ghana forever. Yeah. Know what I mean? I mean, see, last Zulu came in here saying that he never had a bad experience with Ghanaians, so a lot of these things I noticed a lot of these things people are talking about, they never been there before. Like even the Pan-Africans that are so pro-Africa, they never been there before. Like everyone just has a fantasy of what they imagine, and they just it's like just experience. I'd appreciate someone speaking from experience. You know what I mean? Like if someone's saying that they hate Africans, just speak from experience.
They are huge.
Africans in America don't count as Africans.
What's his name? African millennial. Where did you like? Where do you live, or where did you grow up at?
Canada.
I live in Canada. I grew up in Ghana and Europe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's yeah, the what's his name? The return to Africa, or whatever this thing that the return home, or whatever they're doing with the process as far as what's going over there in Ghana. It was bound to happen because it was the root of it was you would have to be, or how do I say it? Like the kids say, you got to be in the field. You would have to experience what we experience with African Americans here to actually understand what's going on. There's a check-in system. There is no check-in system for those other countries. Like most of the time when you see African Americans, like I have friends from Gambia, places like Eswatini or Mozambique. Usually if they run into an African American or we're all around each other, they'd be like, "Hey brother, where you from?" "Oh, I'm from Gambia," and they'll be looking at them like, "Where's that at?" because and the reason for it, yeah, the reason for it is that it's not an insult. The reason for it is that those other countries, they have like a real shy nature about them. Because if you ever been around other Africans, if they really ain't really part of the West African squad like that, they don't really like to mingle with anybody else other than their own. They
That's
kind
kind
of
of
be
true.
little, yeah, they kind of be shy, sitting in a corner, read book and shit. But with Ghanaians and like Nigerians, like if there's a party across the street and there's a fire inside of the building, we still coming in to see what's going on. So yeah, yeah. We really like that. Like when I was in the 90s, you would see it all the time. Like when I was a kid growing up, you would see African Americans having like real like these are the days where people were openly like doing the Harlem Shake. Like it was like new dances coming out, like the Hill Told, the Harlem Shake. Like everybody was kind of boogieing, listening to Nas, Illmatic days and stuff like that. You would see Ghanaians and Nigerians and people from Senegal like right there in the middle. Like I remember African American. Let me tell you, I remember going to the barbershop and seeing Akon before he became Akon. Like when he was a barber and he used to cut people's
Oh,
hair.
really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah, I used to walk. He's from I saw him, let me tell you, Zulu. I saw Akon on two sides of the country. I used to live in St. Louis where he was born. So I saw him when I was in St. Louis, and then I saw him when my parents got divorced and I was living in Jersey, and he moved to Newark, New Jersey, and I saw him there too. So I remember actually going to the barbershop and Akon was cutting people's hair. You had to stand in line and wait for, I don't know why Akon was here too, because his hairline is completely fucked up. That shit was, I was,
Hey, boy, he got that,
that
he got that new money. He don't care no more, bro. He got that new
You don't
money. He
care,
don't
yeah.
care no more.
He got that new money, man. He importing people's hair. Like he go to the barbershop, they put
Oh God.
somebody's hair on top of his head. Like that boy got so much money, he don't even know what to do no more. Yeah, but like, yeah, it's a check-in system. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's a check-in system because like sometimes to the longest conversation, hey, where you from? I'm from Namibia, and then it turns into like the longest conversation, and then people have like African Americans they're gonna interrogate you, like they will interrogate you about your country and ask you about, hey, like so what's Namibia like, yada yada. You find African Americans in New York and ask them about Ghanaians, they can tell you from Kwame Nkrumah all the way back to Yasantua. They can tell
Yeah.
you everything they know. Yeah, because we mingled with them. Like when we first came, we weren't sitting in the corner hiding and I'm gonna just wear my kente cloth and just eat some
Run up
fufu
in the
in a
corner.
corner somewhere. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, we were actually checking in with them. So a lot of us know them on a personal basis. Like I was actually raised by an African American woman. I lived in North Carolina for a bit, so they adopted
North
me and brought
Carolina.
me
Oh, you
into.
got here in the South, boy.
Yeah, yeah. I used to live in Greensboro, Zulu. I used to live
Oh,
over
for
there in
real. I
Greensboro.
got family down there, man.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a lot of us were part of the check. We've always been part of the check-in system, and we between the Ghanaians and the Nigerians, we actually marry African Americans. So we're very intertwined with each other, So it's like it was bound to happen when they put this whole thing together, Return to Africa, whatever it is that they doing. It was only one spot that they could have done it in, and it had to be Ghana. They couldn't, if they took it maybe Nigeria, but knowing what's going on there with their security system, it's just it had to be Ghana. It couldn't be any other place.
Bro, I'm gonna say I'll play this. I'm not gonna say that because I don't want no Nigerian get mad at me and be trying to fight me down here in Georgia. So I'm gonna say that. But like from the things that I heard about Nigeria, like I'm not gonna be honest. Like I heard they moving hella drugs through that country right now. And if I know anything through Nigeria, I mean, like
Yeah,
every time I look around and say, I'm hearing like another drug bust of cocaine, and I'm like, who the fuck? Like, when did Nigerians start hustling cocaine? And I'm like, I'm trying to figure out where they sending this at. Like,
they've been on they've been cooking. They've been cooking that stuff in the basement before Freeway Ricky was even on the scene over there in Nigeria. Yes, that's yeah, they've been Nigeria's. That's a hustle place, bro. Like anything that anybody doing now, they've been doing that shit. They was doing that shit before it was even invented. Like,
okay,
they up on game all the time over there. Unfortunately, but yeah. But I'm hoping. So what's his name? African Millennial. Do you ever go back? Do you ever visit Ghana?
What's
Like you
his
go back home?
name? What's his name? What's I saying that? Hey,
Not
what's
frequently.
his name?
No, not frequently. Like, let's say 2 years increments. Not frequently.
Hey man,
Oh,
I can't. I
okay.
don't know how
Yeah,
you do it though.
try to go back. I don't. I'm not one of those people at all. Like even though like I spent the majority of my life growing up in America, like I never did that. Like my dad was always real aggressive with the idea of not even just going back to Ghana, but just going to Africa in general. So like that's why I see people all the time. They're like, man, how am I gonna do this? How am I man, Africa's I'm like, no, you gotta roll it. Like I feel so comfortable when I go back home. Like I could just literally just go to Namibia, just kick my feet up like nothing even happened. You know,
Man,
I know people everywhere from Botswana all the way down to Zimbabwe. Like you got to feel real comfortable. Like that's what I'm saying. Like you have to feel comfortable in Africa because it is our ancestral land. Like it is our home for real. Like you know, Is it cool walking around in New York or Jersey? Yeah, it's cool, but you know, it's a different vibe when you really get to where you're really from. You
hey
know,
man,
it's it's a it's
Jay,
a
I'm telling you this
it's a
much.
trip, Zulu. Like you could be like it's a trip, Zulu. Like you could be at the airport. I remember I've been at the airport, like standing in line and seeing Idris Elba. I was like, oh shit, like it's really Idris Elba. Like I
Oh
was like,
really?
this, yeah, yeah. You know, his mom is got his mom and my mom is actually from the same tribe. Like he's
Oh
like
really?
really, yeah. I think his dad is like I think his dad is Sierra Leonean. Yeah, his dad is Sierra Leonean, but his mom's from Ghana. Like he be in Ghana like all the time. He be blending in with people too. Like when
Hey
he's
dude.
there, everybody's like, oh, that's just the African dude.
No, I'm telling you, that's the thing I kind of like when I was in Uganda. Like, the only thing that kind of gave me what they didn't know exactly when I was over there, right? Like the fact that I could just blend in it and no one really said anything to me. Like, the only reason they knew I was like quote unquote from that area was like the forehead. Like when I tell you that East African forehead is legitimate, bro. That shit, that shit is legitimate, bro. Like, bro, like
Man,
that shit.
yeah,
It's like a certified stamp, bro.
oh yeah. They do be having some Rihanna out there. They be having some Rihanna foreheads out there, boy.
Boy,
Like that East African.
that shit,
That shit,
man,
that shit look
that
like
thing was broken.
when you get to Uganda, like everybody at the airport look like Yo Gotti. Like everybody got that Yo Gotti.
I'm telling you, bro.
Everybody,
You don't understand, dude. When I got
everybody
out,
got that Yo Gotti head, boy. They crack coconuts with them heads, boy. Let me tell you something,
boy,
Zulu.
bro, I'm telling you, that was the one thing I was worried about. I was like, bro, if I don't want to piss off none of these chicks over here, because I get a nice little head, but I'm gonna be out here on the side of the road, knocked out in Africa, bro, and nobody gonna know what to do.
Yo, my boy had this like when we was in college, right? We was in college and we went to Rwanda one time, and my boy linked up
Bro,
with this girl. Like I don't know if you ever been to that Rwanda. African millennium. You ever been to Rwanda?
I ain't never been, but I
No, I
know a lot of
haven't.
in
No.
Uganda.
Nah, everybody listen, I like to give props like African millennial was saying, like it's cool to talk about, you know, like we give props to our own country, but you really have to give it up for other people. Like what they doing over there in Rwanda. Rwanda is actually, from what I've like even reading through documentation or spending time at the UN, like they're saying that Rwanda is expected within 7 or 8 years to be officially like the first black African nation, which is not considered third world. So they really like Rwanda is dope. Like some places in Rwanda, there was a tunnel. We were driving through a tunnel in Rwanda. I thought it looked like when you're going into New York. Like it looked like the Verrazano Bridge or something. Like it looked like it looked like a Holland Tunnel. I was like,
Oh,
yo, this is
really?
like, yeah, like Rwanda they on a different vibe over there.
I mean, yeah,
And
but it's
we
a
was there.
smaller country though. I mean,
Is
I
that
can see why they should be able to like monopolize
to
all
get
their
things
resources. It's a smaller country
Yeah,
than like a bigger
to get things
country.
done a lot. Yeah, to get things done a lot faster. Because if you a small country, you have to be. It's better to get things done faster. Like you should be able to get everything, you know, put together. Like you ain't really got a lot of people to feed or, you
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
put some. Yeah, but my boy, we went to a party one time and my boy met this girl. So we was all chilling. And Rwanda women are beautiful. Unfortunately, they really tall, but they're really, really beautiful over there. So my boy met this girl, and we was all vibing. It was a long time ago. It was like we was in college, and my boy was like, yo, I'm about to yo, Jay, I catch you later, man. I'm about to, we about to go to the hotel. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, well, go do your thing. I'm not gonna, stand in front of you. I'm about to get out of here, go to the hotel with mine too. So the funny thing is, the next morning we met, and he made a joke about the girl's head, and I was like, yeah, I was looking at him. I'm like, yo, Kwame, what's wrong? He's like, yo, he's like, he was like, yo, Zulu. He was like, yo, Shorty, Shorty was giving me head. I could barely wrap my hand around her head, like that.
Oh God, no.
What are you talking about women, man? Are you from the manosphere or are you this man on this thing? Are you from
I don't think you know who
manosphere?
you're talking to.
Who came in here ruining our party? Who is this?
You don't need to know me.
Sorry,
What are you
bro.
talking about women? Talk about men, how we can make money and make ourselves masculine.
I,
What you
I'm not
worry
gay,
about
so
what
I'm not
women?
talking about
What are you
men.
talking about women? You need to
I don't
stop
think
that
you know.
shit,
Hey,
man.
Kafaru, I don't think you know who you talking to on this one, bro. That man make more money than me and probably 4, 5 other people out here, bro. And I'm telling you, I make
Well,
good money.
do you know how much money I make?
I'm gonna tell you this much, bro. He make really good money, bro.
Yeah, people
Really
who
good.
make that much money don't have time talking about women. Women talk about them. What are you talking about?
I mean, I mean, I'm gonna tell you this much, bro. I know King James is Ghanaian. This
Bro,
man,
people who
he
make
makes
more
great
money
money,
don't talk
bro.
about women. Women talk about them. That's how it
Oh my.
works.
Okay.
That's
Oh
just the
wow.
fact. You don't make much money and talk about women. Women talk about people who make money. That's just the fact. I've been
Okay.
in
Okay.
this game for so much long time.
All right. Looks like
Well,
somebody
I
came to
just
teach.
heard you talking about this. I don't know. Maybe you both African Americans, but this is the thing.
No, he's from Ghana,
Africa.
bro. He is Ghanaian.
Well, Ghanaian, you live in Ghana. Were you born and raised in Ghana? Is your business and establishment in Ghana or in America?
I don't know.
You talking
You
about
don't
both?
know who you're talking to. That's the funniest part, though.
No, I'm talking about. Sorry, I can't see your name. I have very bad eyesight,
It's
bro.
called King James. Let's go with King James.
Ah, it's King. Oh, King James. King Genocide. King James. What's the name? King James. Okay, I think I've not met that guy before. Are you Ghanaian?
Yes, sir.
You live in Ghana, King James.
No, I roll between Ghana, Switzerland, and America.
Are you businessman? I like business people because I'm doing business, man. Yeah,
Uh,
well, I don't want to get into your private life. I don't like doing that. If you make money, that's good. Good for you. You can teach some other brothers how to become like you. But there's the thing. When we talk about Africans, about African countries, I don't want when we talk about just one city. You understand? I don't
mhm.
believe, like, for me, an example. When I go back to my home country where I live, people consider that area a rich people's area. You understand? But that does
What
not
what
represent
country?
my
What
country.
country are you from?
I'm from Cameroon.
Oh,
You
okay.
understand?
What part?
That
What
that
part of
that
Cameroon?
does not yeah, that does not represent my country. When I look at myself, my standard of living, that does not represent my home country. If everyone in my country can live like me, then I would say, okay, my country has got a standard of living. I can't take maybe like Douala or Yaoundé, where they have like really high standard of living, industrialized towns, you know, work, industrialization, and make that the standard of my country. I don't like doing that. And when I leave those areas, I go to rural areas, people suffer. That's why I don't like Africans come in and say, "Oh, I live in this part of the country, it's good." No, no, no. You don't say that. All of that country needs to have at least basics. You understand what I mean? Then we can say,
Yeah,
okay, our country is good. We can't talk about Rwanda and we're just talking about Kigali. That's just Kigali. Out of Kigali, what do they have? You understand? Not just Kigali or maybe Yaoundé, maybe Douala, maybe Accra or Kumasi. Ghana is not just Accra and Kumasi. So many other towns, what do they have? So we should try to have a level, what's an average, then we can use that average to compare. That's just my problem I have with these Africans. You
I mean,
understand?
Kafaru, I'm gonna tell you this much, right? Now, Georgia, I can speak. I can say southern states, right? But like outside of the major cities, the standard of living, I mean, it's pretty still decent. I'm not gonna lie to you, but it's completely different from living in Atlanta or living in, let's say, Miami. Then let's say you live in quote unquote, let's say, I don't know what part of Florida, Tallahassee, Florida, right? You live in Tallahassee, Florida, that's a completely different ballgame. You live in Jacksonville, Florida, that's a different ballgame. Like it is still decent standard of living, but the major city is the apex, quote unquote, of what your people or what your country has produced, right? So it's always going to be that difference between the city and then the village life. You know what I mean? Same thing.
Yeah, I'm speaking because I've traveled. I've been in so many European countries. Okay, I just want to say it out there. I've been to Ukraine. Okay, so Ukraine, like the cities that are considered rural areas, less developed areas, they've got a lot of amenities that in some Africans cities that is considered developed, have got an amenities, don't still have that. That's my problem. You understand? We should have now that there's some basics that everyone should have. So if we're talking about our capital cities, our most industrialized cities, you can have an industrialized cities, and inside the cities there's six slums of people who can't even feed. Don't live on $1 a day in the capital city. You understand? I don't really like that. No, we should be able to make all those people have their basics before we can even boast about all these cities and things like that. In the Western world, it's not like people don't go really really low like to go in Africa. You understand what I mean? So we should try to make the standard of living of the average Africa have some basic stuff, and that's what we're not doing. And you know what I'm trying to say. You understand? We can just take one city and make that city represent the whole country. Then that is just been this. We're not giving the right information out there.
Oh, James, you want to hit that one first, or you want me to go first?
No. He's absolutely right. Because it's what he's saying is 100% right. I'm not gonna argue with him about that because it's yeah, he's 100% right. It's he's saying everything. He's on point with that.
Yeah, like for me, I understand what you're definitely saying because, like, trust me, like I done been in Tanzania and like it rained hard and then the power go out. Like that's one thing. That power going out in Africa is a legit thing, man. I was not.
Exactly. Exactly.
My little American ass was not used to that, but that comes with. I think that comes with time. Like I mean, eventually it is going to quote unquote get better. Now I don't know how fast it's going to. It depends on how fast your countries want to industrialize and how much resources they want to sell off or what they want to do to kind of get that money. But I do see
Yeah.
it's definitely making this. Most of these countries are making it some better stuff. Like I can't say for Kenya fully though because I didn't go into like Mombasa, which was like the city capital. But when I was in the Great Lake region, it was okay for the most part. It was okay. I mean, I'm not gonna say it was legit an American match for match, but it was good enough that you can live comfortably enough. I can say that much.
Yeah, I think though, Les, I think African Americans going to Africa, don't lie, you're not impressed about Africa. I know most of you African Americans, you just see these things just to make Africans be happy about themselves. But an African American cannot be impressed in Africa. I don't see that's not possible.
It actually,
What's gonna impress you in Africa as someone that lives in America? What? Give me an example. What?
okay, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like, okay, when I went to Uganda, right? First off, the overall physique of the people was completely different. Like, you gotta understand, I come from America. America, they had to we have 300 people, 300 people walking around like that's normal. That's not normal. You know what I mean? Like, so this overall.
No, I'm talking about infrastructure wise. I'm not talking about the culture of the
If you're
people.
talking about infrastructure wise, no. But like,
That's it.
But what I did enjoy about the country was when I was there, I was like the abundance of food, the abundance of necessarily the culture, and the
Okay.
abundance of necessarily the willingness to have people that are actually willing to work though. Like I think you like for me, I don't really need that much. All I need necessarily is the basics like water and water and electricity. I'm good. I don't really need internet, God honest. But when you come from this kind of environment where you have all these things necessarily, but there's so many obstacles that you have to hop over, and then when you get to a country where it's vastly different, you can see it's better. I'm gonna say it's an overall better quality of living. Like I'm using America. If you can't afford, if you lose your job in America, you're going to die. You're going to die. There's no food that you can get. There's no nothing. In Africa,
Yeah.
if you lose your job, you just go to the tree. You go to your local village or go to the tree and pick out some food and survive. To me, that's baffling.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
Of course,
baffling.
the culture, how people interact with one another. Of course, that's a huge difference. You can see that clear. It's true. In Africa, you might be hungry. You can pop into a neighbor's house. They're gonna give you food without expect you to give them something. That's just the culture. That cultural part is okay. You understand? I know that. I think that's what kind of baffles most African American when it comes to Africa. This communal environment, communal culture, how people live in sync in the environment, things like that. Yeah, but for us, Africa, we have that. You understand? But we need something bigger. We need development, the good roads, the good drainage system, the good urban planning, the good hospitals. You understand? So we have our own needs, and that's why sometimes people get conflict. African and African Americans. We have two different interests, and I think Africans we need to build our communities and our nation to make them conduce now, habitable for our citizens, and yeah, something like that.
I mean for me personally, that comes with time. Like for me, like I said, I can only do the three places that I've been to fully. Like Kenya was doing pretty good for the most part. Tanzania was behind. Not gonna lie to you, Tanzania was behind. Uganda was on its way. Like it's not running right now, but it's got like a nice little jog on. Like so, they got a nice little jog of progression. So with these countries, like for me, that's all I really need for me to necessarily go to one of these countries and actually do anything or be able to like necessarily or amplify the what's already there. Right? If you have something that's already like the ball is already moving, you come in and keep pushing it and pushing it. And me, for my mindset, how I look at whenever there's a problem, that's the opportunity to make money. Right? That's how I look at it. So for me, this is like me going to Africa for me is like the greatest thing ever. Like because it's so many issues that need to be fixed. I know that that's an ability to be that's a job that can be filled or resources gained from that. For me, I think it's just abundance of opportunity that you just don't have in America, right? So that's the thing
Yeah.
that I don't like about it, but that's just my personal opinion.
I like that output. And I think one of the strengths that African Americans, not so much Caribbeans, but African Americans specifically, and even just the Africans in America have an advantage is they have that leverage over regular, I guess, regular Africans who never left. They can see things in different points of view. They're
Hmm.
more emotionally aware. They have other skills.
Hmm.
Because I'll say, speaking to some of my cousins, what they think is work is just going to school and applying for a job by the government. But it's like someone over here knows that there are different things that you could do, like the skills that some other people don't value. Like you can literally become famous on social
Exactly.
media just by working, I guess, just a different level that I think
Hmm.
that a lot of diasporas have, and they can see things that the Africans on ground can't see.
100%, 100%. Just
They
to cut
can.
you short, like I don't know for how long. How old were you when you came to the West? AM.
I was young. I was like 8.
Okay, okay. Maybe you were quite young. But if you are in the West and you view Africa from a different perspective. You can't like say, "Oh God, this is what is going on." This is you look at Africa from a bird eyes view, and that's the main reason that why people think Pan-Africanism is more serious in the West, because they look at Africa in the bird's eyes view. But if you're in Africa, you can't see Africa from that perspective. And that is the problem. And people don't even understand. Like when Africans leave Africa, they see Africa from a different perspective, like the reality that's going on in Africa. But if you're in Africa, you just want to have a job, want to struggle to live. You don't see the bigger Africa. But when you leave Africa, you can provide these basic things that most Africans in the continent can have: job, house,
They don't see the
I don't know.
possibility. No, I mean,
But when you come out of that need, you start looking at Africa from a wider perspective. And that's the same reason why Pan-Africanism in the West, they look on Africa from a wider perspective. And that's why people say, oh, Pan-Africanism is something from the West. No, it's just because they see Africa from a bird's eyes view, from the wider range. And that's how we need to watch to look at Africa. That's where you see many things, how the continent is actually operating. Africans in the continent just want to survive. They don't want to live. You know what I'm talking about.
yeah, I know what you mean. Like it's first off, it's the two things. Like when I look at Africa like the opportunity. Like I can see the opportunity that it can be because I come from the West, right? When I look at these coltan that's being taken out, or the lithium, I think what is? I think it's the lithium for the batteries. I can't remember the specific name of the material. I think it's coltan. I'm not sure on that. Like for me personally, right, like my degree is in mechanical engineering, right? So when I look at stuff like that, I'm like, you have that? How much? You can do what with that? Like if I go talk to like my master teacher, like he does like chemistry, so I go talk to him, go speak to him, and learn some stuff about chemistry, and I can use these skills to do.
Wow, sorry,
Great.
cutting you. Did you say you're a mechanical engineer?
Yes, graduated from Kennesaw State University at Georgia.
Can you send me your email?
Yeah, no problem, man.
On
No
the
problem.
back chat, because I don't want to say things online because some people always think people copying when they say what they do or who they are. So just send me your email.
Yeah, man, I got no problem doing that.
Yeah. That's how we connect, bro.
But yeah, like I said, like when you go to these countries, for me, I can see all the things that you don't have and the things that you can possibly set up, right? So especially considering like the environment is so fruitful that I don't know. It's like it is probably the best continent in the world to live in. Like I just can't see. I can't say that. I can't say because I've never been to China. I never been to all those places. But to me, when I look at the environment of Africa, I'm like, this is the perfect place to be at. But I think that's how the hindrance of Africa is that it is perfect place to be at. The drive is not there, or the drive is not necessarily as frantic like another place. Like you go to India, they have a drive. Their drive is because of the fact that they need to do it. Like Europeans, they needed to necessarily develop. They're like, I don't think Africa, since like Africa is so good, it's such a hospitable place. They don't have that drive, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I get what you mean. They don't really have, because they don't see how Africa is important to them. You understand? They don't really see how the rest of the world view Africa as a breadbasket. They don't
Yeah,
see how the rest of the world want to get a piece of Africa. How valuable Africa is to the rest of the world. They don't actually see it. They just see themselves as some individual people who want to survive. I get what you mean, and to make them see themselves as valuable, they live in the most valuable continent, the continent on the world, on the planet. Then maybe they will start looking at Africa as a really, really important piece of puzzle in this whole world economy, politics, or whatever.
but
Yeah, I get
no,
what.
but like I said, when I was there, the thing that I was noticing that for me that was kind of heartbreaking was the schooling system. And when I mean like I literally read a magazine, not a magazine, it was a newspaper, and they had like one science question, and all the science questions were wrong, all the mathematical questions were wrong, and I'm sitting there like, that was breaking my heart personally, because I'm like, I didn't even have like some. It was like, why does a duck have webbed feet? And it was like, it's a mutation. And I'm sitting here like, oh God, no. Like, it was just stuff that I was just seeing, just like was hurting my heart. And I'm like, yeah, like with this kind of educational system, you're not gonna be ready for the like global fight for supremacy for your nation. And like, without that being changed or developed, Africa.
Sorry, what kind of education did you see? Did you go through the curriculum of
No,
what kind of education?
I went through. I sat in and I watched the what is it? It was the first primary school, and I'm looking at the things that they were teaching. And I'm like, this is not going to get you into the position that you need to be for competing on a global scale. That's what I was saying. Like, there was
Well, I think I get what you mean. I get what you mean. But to get a clear picture, okay, you need to get the full curriculum of what these peoples or what these students they need to understand before they get to a certain age. If you get the full curriculum, then you might think, okay, you might say, okay, we have to change this. But if you just get just a little section of the curriculum, you might be distracted. But for you to judge, I'm not saying that they're perfect, but get the full curriculum of education, okay, then you can actually judge and make statement properly. Do you know what I'm talking about? You understand what I mean?
okay. But like I said, I only sat in for primary school, and I sat in for like an hour. So I guess it could have been just that teacher, it could have been whatever. So
Exactly. Some teachers,
could have been my
the,
mistake.
the, yeah, some teachers are not qualified enough to teach. They just have a job. You understand? That might be one thing. But if you get the curriculum, you look at the syllabus, what they have to learn, maybe you can judge better. Yeah, but I'm not trying to say it's the best because, of course, they've got so many things that they need to change. That's why. Yeah, you understand. We in the Pan African Alliance. We just want. I mean, I'm a political guy. I want to get into politics because I believe the politics in the African continent needs to be eradicated and create something completely from scratch.
That means
Because the
you got a lot of
system,
money, man. You gonna need
huh?
money, my friend. I
Well,
mean, you gonna need a lot of money or a lot of bullets.
we take one step at a time. We don't know what we're gonna get, what we're gonna meet, but that's the ideology. First thing people need to realize that is the truth that the political institution in Africa needs to change. If they see that as a possibility and they say, okay, this is the problem, we need to change this reality, then we know how we're gonna face it. Is it just a bullet? Is it just by talking to the people? No, let's get it. Let's get the message across everyone. So that's why we in the Pan African Alliance are trying to get people to understand. Then from there we say, okay, this is what we're gonna do. How do we carry on? How do we carry on this activity? Is it through the bullet? Is it just by being so smart to smart on outright the present politician and things like that? We don't know. But first things first, the message needs to go through.
Definitely sure though. King James got anything to say, or African Money got anything to say? Because I want to be like hogging, because I can definitely talk all day.
No, I'm just listening to you guys talk. I'll just listen to the conversation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, me too.
So you guys have not got something to reject or accept. Come on, like say something that is. I like. Sometimes when people reject your ideology, they challenge it. It makes you kind of think better. But if everyone just accept, it makes me feel like a dictator. I feel I'm like a dictator. I don't want to feel like that.
Oh, motherfucker. I'm like 5 steps from a dictator myself, bro. So you.
I, yeah, no, I don't reject it. Um, I I think it depends on the country, though. To be quite honest, I don't think some countries can be saved at this point. Um,
Really?
personally, yeah, I don't think some countries can be saved.
Which ones?
Don't worry about it.
No, just African
Some
millennial. Say
African
it. Say
countries can't be saved, you
say
know?
it. Say it. Just say it. Don't be scared of all these things on YouTube. Just say it.
Oh,
She want to
bro.
say
Uh,
she want to say
It might
Nigeria
be
so
my
bad.
country. I don't care. It might be whatever. Just say it.
She want to say Africa.
yes,
She
yes,
want to say
yes.
Nigeria so
Actually,
bad.
yes. Congo,
Yeah,
Nigeria, and
yeah.
Sudan.
It's some of them motherfuckers. They just not gonna make it. We just gonna
Yeah,
have
I
to
don't
choke.
think
Oh
they're
no,
gonna
bro. I
make
ain't
it.
gonna lie, bro. Congo's down here.
I
I'm
don't.
looking
I
at
don't
this
see
shit
it.
like, please,
Zulu,
Congolese,
let me
bro.
tell you.
Like,
Nah, Zulu, let me tell you. Some of them niggas, we just gonna have to charge it to the game and keep it pushing, cause they not. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, like I've been to some of these places and I'm looking around. I say, these, this nigga might be selling his own little. He might be selling his own sister tomorrow morning. I'm telling you, bro. In
no,
some of
no,
these
bro,
places,
no. Like, James, let me tell you this. Let me tell you this, bro. When I was in Uganda, right? I really snuck over to the border because for me, I was talking to the Bonnie Cola girl, so they live in right?
African millennial. Sorry for cutting you guys short.
Go ahead,
You
right?
just said something that Nigeria can be saved. I have a stream coming up tomorrow. It's called the Dangote model. And I'm going to explain to you why that can save a lot of African countries. Why that model is just a Pan African alliance model. It's just our thing. It's called a Dangote model. I think it's just for the sake of YouTube. We call it that name. But if you guys are free, you come in. Nigeria is not that bad. You know, it needs the Dangote. Most African nations need what is called the Dangote model, and it's going to save a lot of things in most African countries, and it's going to put them back on the track. So it's a
Zulu,
debate. Some people are going to reject it, but if you guys are
yeah.
available, you're free, you can tune in, and we're going to debate on that. I like people
Zulu,
challenge my ideologies.
Zulu, let me tell you something right now. I'm not even gonna lie to you. We ain't even capping. I can promise you right now, it's some niggas selling his mama in Congo for a bag of rice. I'm
Bro,
telling you, it happened.
bro,
I'm
nah,
telling
nah,
you,
nah.
bro.
No, dude, when I went to when I was in Uganda, dude. I went to so I was like, all right, so me being me, all right, I'm adventurous. Hey, I like to go places I shouldn't be going, just for the fact of getting the experience and whatever. Dude, I was like, you can almost when I went to the Congo, we used to get close to the Congo border, the Congo border. I'm sorry, Congo border. I'm like, you know what? I think I could probably sneak like 20,000 people through here real quick. Like if you wanted to bring like an army over there and just kind of like just set up shop, I was like, it was too goddamn easy. I'm sitting here like, where's the border patrol? Like where's like where's the wall or something? We're like, I'm just used to like different level of security when you could just enter a country like that. And I was just like, nah, bro. Like, nah, bro.
Well, Congo can be saved. Nigeria can be saved. What's the other country? I don't know.
Nah,
All African countries can be
Nigeria could
saved.
possibly be saved. The Congo ain't gonna get saved, bro. I'm gonna
It,
tell
it
you.
can.
I'm
It
gonna tell
can.
you
The,
why.
The Congo can be saved. The
The
Congo
Congo,
can be saved.
the Congo
Yes.
ain't gonna be saved, bro, for two reasons. A, their population ain't got the education yet. Two, bro, the entire world got their hands in that motherfucker. And three, they so corrupt. They make the Nigerians look like America.
This is the thing. Zola was a Zola FBA. The
Yeah,
ghost
Zulu.
was
This say Zulu, bro. Or FBA.
Zulu. The West don't like your citizens to die. You understand? Okay, they don't like their citizens to die in foreign countries. This thing is only going on because we are the ones killing our own citizens. You understand? They're not affected. If it affects them, they will stop the next day. I swear to God.
No,
If like if people start attacking, I don't know, maybe European, I don't know, organization or barracks or whatever in the Congo, they will leave. That is just the fact. They're just there because they don't have people don't attack them. People attack the villagers, attack other villages, some militant groups attack some other militant groups, and these people are not affected. That's why it's going on. It's not about them being there, it's about these people killing their friends or their brothers. If these people get a hit, they will leave. They will start to make all kind of international, I don't know, conferences to call people to talk. to make peace in the Congo. There is a solution. There is a solution. I don't want to say much. I don't want to sound like weird or whatever. There is a solution. These
Hey, bro.
people are not affected. That's why they are still there. If you affect them, they will stop.
All I'm gonna
Did
say,
you know, like four African, like there was 4 American soldiers killed in the Sahel, just 4, and that was the deal. America had to change. I don't know the strategy of how they deployed their soldiers to the Sahel. Just 4 of them, 4, because they were affected. You know how many African soldiers die in the Sahel by terrorism? A lot. That's the problem. We need to change the heat to the other side, if you know what I mean.
hey man, whatever y'all got to do in the Congo to get, I don't know. I'm with King James on this one, bro. Like from what I saw, I can't necessarily say, I can't say everything. Like from what I saw when I was going to that whole border situation was messed up. Like I'm looking at that like I'm like this ain't good, bro. Like you can probably definitely sneak up like 100,000 dudes across that border without nobody seeing it. Like it's like you got to remember the Congo is massive, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Massive, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So to even properly patrol that, you need you would like I don't know 300 men or it was like $300,000 man team to like patrol that border correctly.
Mm-hmm.
You need at least that much. And that's just one side. That's just that's just the
But
eastern region, bro. That's even like the north,
yeah.
southern. You know what I mean? It's like
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the thing. You have the EAC now going into Congo, and they're making really great They're having some great achievements, having some really great moves. So I'm just watching them, to see how further they can go. So for now, I'm just watching. I think they're having a good I don't know reviews. They're doing things good. They're having they're on the right track. So I just want to watch the EAC what actually they can do, what peace they can actually bring to the Congo, what level of peace and stability, and from there they can move on.
I'm
So
creating the East African Federation, East African Community. I'm guessing.
yeah, it's African community. Yeah.
Okay, ain't they robbing that bitch?
Well, well, I don't.
Well, that's
Well,
it. No,
this
bro.
is the thing.
No, bro. Like I stay in the when it comes to Uganda, bro. I stay really like linked into that country, right, bro. From everything they tell me, they out there robbing the fuck out the Congolese. That's what I heard. Now I can't say that for sure, because I'm not directly embedded into the government, but from what I
Yeah.
heard. They
Mm-hmm.
out there robbing the fuck out the Congo, bro. I think Mufisi, I forgot the dude's name. The president of was it goddamn it, God, what's the name? I just said it. Uganda. Like what I heard, bro. Him and his team was out there robbing the fuck out the Congo, man.
Yeah, it's easier for us Africans to point fingers, to other Africans. You're robbing Congo, China, Russia, America, whatever have been robbing Congo for decades, but we don't point the finger at them. But it's easier for us to point at other African countries. So you're robbing. You understand? And that's just what is happening. But if all these people now can come together and say, you know what, we need to make Congo peaceful and we need to make it stable. See, Russia is not ready, or America or Britain, to send its military in the Congo to fight. There's no chance they can win that war. They don't want to do that. So the only way they can do is to finance rebel groups to protect their interests. If all those rebel groups that have been financed by this foreign investment can be all what's the word? If they cannot be defeated, they're not there. Then okay, we can have hope.
I'll be
Britain
right
is
back.
never going to send his. Britain is not going to send the British military to fight in Congo or France or China. No, they're never going to do that. They just use these people to protect them. So if we can actually decimate this little this splinter cells in the Congo, then there may be some hope. So that's why I'm just watching at the EAC to see how far they can go. But up to now, so far so good. They're doing a good job, so I appreciate them for that. There's hope. There's hope. We are just we're just the ones who can actually make us better, not some other group of people. Yeah.
Hey, what's his name? Uh, Zulu, you still there?
I think he said he'll be back. I don't know. Maybe he's busy.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Oh, okay.
I
African
with the
millennial. I think
Congolese.
it's definitely my first time.
Hmm.
It's my definitely
What?
first time being here. Thank you for letting me come up. I'm gonna catch you guys later. I'm about to go get some.
Yeah, no worries, no worries.
All right.
Thanks for calling
Uh,
in.
Mr.
So
Kila Faru, it was nice meeting you, bro.
yeah, I don't know. You can subscribe to my channel, bro. I'm gonna have a really important, high level conversation debate tomorrow if you're available.
Okay, I'll see if I'm not too busy. I'll drop in there. But thanks a lot, bro.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, bro. I'll catch you guys later. You guys be safe.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I came late. So what you saying that Ghana didn't scam nobody? What was the topic? I think I came in late.
Yeah, that was the topic that the year return Ghana didn't scam anyone. Ghana's, like Ghana shouldn't be criticized as much as it is. It's kind of annoying. That was basically what I was talking about in the beginning.
Of course, Ghana didn't scam no one. I will stand with Ghana for that. They told people this is what it is. If you want to come, you come. If you don't want, okay. I think they were doing that for good faith. It was trying to bring African diasporas back to the, not like actually bringing them back, but telling them there's an option. You can come to Africa and relax if you feel like tense. You can't blame Ghana. If people come to Africa without doing their own due diligence and they get scammed by some scumbags, well, you can't blame Ghana. Just blame yourself for not getting so much information, to what African country you're going. You can't blame Ghana. I say, yeah, of course, I'll accept that.
The thing that we were talking about Congo though, I do believe that there are African countries that should help, but I my thing is the degree of importance that Congo would be to other African countries. Like I feel like East Africa should be their main priority to do that because they're right beside it. Central Africa too.
Hmm.
Other regions of Africa they can help, but like we just need to know what the other regions are doing, and then we can help.
Exactly, exactly. This is the thing. Congo is massive. Congo span from the west to the central, right to the east of Africa. I think those who are towards the east to I don't know what country, Uganda, whatever, to that Kivu region. Okay, they might you might solve problems towards the Kivu region, but the central and towards the western part of Congo, I don't know if these people are actually part of that East African community, because there are two massive tribes in Congo, the ones that speak Lingala and they speak some other stuff, and they don't really see eye to eye. And these ones towards the Kivu region, I don't know how they call those tribes, they're the ones like really, really active in the East African community. The center of Congo is more like still in the Central African region, and it's a little bit is a kind of a complex politics that's going on in Congo that people don't really understand. And but all of us, if Congo can be free, it's gonna be good for the continent because Congo is massive. As I said, the span from the west right up to the east of Africa. It's just a big chunk of land in the middle of Africa, and that's
Now,
it. So
in my God honest opinion, the Congo is like the heartbeat or the like, little financial muscle of the entire African continent. Between it's only like 5 regions that's like I'm gonna say 3 regions that's like really really profitable, and I mean like on a world's class changing level. That's like Eritrea and quote unquote what is it Ethiopia, because they can the East Africa they control that region where all the trade comes through North
yeah, bro,
Africa,
the Horn
and then
of
the
Africa
Congo.
It's just Ethiopia. Though those other countries are not really, they're not. They don't have so much influence. It's just Ethiopia. When you talk about Horn of Africa, it's Ethiopia, man. That's just a fact.
Yeah, but so between those two regions, or those like regions of the continent, that's where you start seeing like the levels of power on the international scale start to change, or I'm sorry. You start seeing the international power that the African continent literally has. Like literally, if you want to trade, most likely I think between most of the world known world, you either have to go through Africa one way or another, and just that in itself just makes it such a financial hub of finance. But then after that, as I like go through history and start studying, I see why Africans have so much. What is it? I'm gonna go with this. So many wars have been fought over that area, and in my personal opinion, I don't think Africans are like warlike enough to really dominate that area currently. I'm gonna say that much because the average African is just not. I'm not gonna say. Okay, I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say I'm not seeing the mentality within the people themselves to dominate. They just they're doing okay. They just want to do okay and live today, which is fine.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Right? When people are born into poverty, they don't have much option. They don't even understand. They don't have time to think how they can make themselves better. People are born into poverty. They just want to eat and have shelter. They have like really low life expectation. You understand? That's just the fact. But if you want to like rule over this group of people, you don't have to ask your opinion. You just know what is good for them and you decide for them. You understand? I just want to ask you a question. Are you against, let me put it this way, benevolence dictatorship? Do you
Oh
think it's a
hell
good?
yeah! Hey, bro, you talking to the wrong guy. Like, if I had the power, oh boy, don't make me king of the Africans, boy. Like 30 years, man. Like Africa will be industrialized, hell or high water, and then we taking off North Africa, motherfucker. We as
No, no. Live North Africa, man.
let me finish. But I mean, we taking North Africa. I mean, in a sense that any trade that comes through that area, which is like trillions of dollars of trade. Oh, we controlling all that. Oh, we get 10% of all that, man. 10% of all that on both ends. I'm talking about
we don't even need to look. People talk about North Africa so much. That is a deserted area, bro. These people need to work so hard to industrialize themselves to even compete. They need to get into high technology. I don't know why people worry about North African, sub-Saharan African.
No, you
That's the
misunderstand.
part of the world.
On the globe, I don't think just like okay on this. I think of a global context, right? If you understand how many ships go through the Ethiopian slash with the Yemen
The
border,
Suez, towards the Suez Canal. Yeah.
yeah, right. If you understand how much money that necessarily is transferred through that area, how many goods that is transferred through that area, and the economical power that gives you on the global stage.
But this is the thing, that is open waters. The other countries that can actually claim some revenues, maybe I don't know, Somalia, but Somalia now is not that stable enough. So I think they are doing that on purpose so that they can have
Exactly.
control. And yeah, so West and Central Africa they don't have any control towards that route, of ships, but they can have a better business on the other side, on the west coast of Africa, on the Atlantic, the west coast of the Atlantic Ocean. You understand? Maybe it's a longer route, but we can't do much. That's international waters,
Hey, bro.
the
See that's what I'm saying. Y'all, you think like an African, bro. When I start hearing that, like, wait a minute, you live on what part? Like, dude, I will be out there blocking the hell out of the what's the name of that goddamn strait? Like 40 seconds. Look at that map again. Oh, Morocco. I will have a toll on Morocco. I will have a toll right there necessarily near Egypt. So you gotta pay me to come through Egypt, and you gotta pay me to come through Morocco.
Pay who?
I said if I was the king of Africa, this is
Oh
me.
no, you can't be king of Africa. It's
Like,
come on,
I'm
man.
like, bro,
It's just
you paying to come
you
through
can't.
the Egypt
They
area
can
and the Moroccan area, bro, and you paying
no,
me
they,
up the toll, bro. I'm talking.
they
We that whole country will be financed, but just by the toll alone. Like you don't understand how my
yeah,
brain works.
of course, but there can be no king of Africa. I
Hey, bro.
think the people who are close to that route, going towards Egypt to that canal, going towards the Swiss Canal. Okay, they may have the advantage to decide who comes there, but when you're international waters, no one owns international waters, and that is just the word how the world politics work.
I'm gonna give you my American perspective on that. Fuck that. Like I'm telling you, bro. Like, I don't know, maybe because I'm from America, bro. But I swear to you, bitch, who said so, bro? Like if I got enough guns, bitch, you gonna abide by them rules anyway. So like, bro, I'm too American for that shit, bro. Like,
Yeah, see,
I'm
I
telling you,
get
I'm
what you
too
mean,
American
but
for that shit.
yeah, the Somalis pirates tried, but they were defeated because now commercial ships had to pay them what's it called private
Oh,
security. You
they gotta pay a
understand?
toll, bro.
Yeah, they had to pay private securities to be on commercial ships. It's hard. It's hard. It's just reality. But to me, even if we give that away, there's still so much on the continent that we can still leverage to make yourself still very dominant in the world's global economy. You
Man,
understand? There's just so much. We just need to be organized. I think we lack organization.
you
We
have
lack
you lack
organization.
organization and you lack necessary coherency. Like Ghana, like
Exactly.
if Ghana, hold on, let me be fair. If Ghana themselves, right, and let's say the other two West African nations that also said that they import the most coffee, say, okay, the price of coffee is going to be $8 a pound, or let's say $10 a pound. Man, do you not understand how much financial gain they would have in the next 5 years, bro?
Yeah,
Like
this
literally, Ghana, if they set their price of coffee to that limit and it's held to it, bro, Ghanaians, we out here driving Lamborghinis like
okay,
civilians.
but this is the thing. This is the thing, Zulu. Listen to this. People always say that we're gonna set our price, but this is what some people call the catch-22 questions. If we Africans we don't consume those products, what do you do with them? I'll give you an example. If maybe Switzerland, Holland, I don't know what, America said, you know what, we're not gonna buy Ghanaian chocolate. We don't need it. We're not gonna buy Ghanaian cocoa. What do you think Ghana is gonna do with us with that chocolate, with that cocoa beans? What do you think they're gonna do with it?
First off, it's two things. Some things are always going to be useful to somebody else, regardless, right? So even if the United States of America or let's say the other European nations say we're not going to use it, you can sell it to you can sell it to India, South
Mhm.
South Korea, China. China has a massive.
Exactly. India is not going to buy with at the same cap as the United States or those European countries. It's going to be even cheaper. So to me, what I'm trying to say is we should consume our own product first, have value for our own product before we even start exporting them to the rest of the world.
That's true. I mean, that's good and bad at the same time. I understand the concept, but what I'm saying is when you can regulate the price, you can necessarily set the price. When you set the price, you can literally start manipulating the world economy as you so see it. And that's what I'm talking about on a grand scale. Like, so I understand what you're saying.
Bro, yeah. This is what Africans don't realize. The West is trying your best, okay, to stop the dependency from Africa. I've seen now they're actually producing orange in some part of Europe, maybe Spain and Greece. They're
They
trying
can't.
to maximize that. Look, they're trying to make it in such a way that they don't need to depend on Africa, and we don't really realize that. And if they can realize your dream and stop, we're gonna get even poorer because among ourselves we don't even trade. All our trade is geared towards Europe. If they can actually stop depending on us, then it will be even more worse for African countries. What are you going to do with all the minerals? You don't manufacture it, you don't transform it, you don't do nothing with it. You just want to get it and sell it to them. So I think we need to actually change how we see things. We need to have value for our own national resources. Not the rest of the world don't have to see value in what we have. We as Africans need to see the value in what we have and try to use it to make us ourselves as Africans countries better before we even think of selling it to the rest of the world. But we don't have value for the things we have, for the things we have. The value come from outsiders, and that's the problem. That's just my problem. You understand what I mean? We have gold, we have this, we have cobalt. What are you gonna do with cobalt if America or Tesla said, you know what? I don't give a damn about cobalt. I don't need it. What are you gonna do with cobalt? African countries.
Okay, I don't know. I'm like flip mode because I can look at both of the contexts like very, very easily. See, I like this, right? Europeans are gonna always need Africans because of two things. A, they don't have no natural resources. Two, where they live is completely inhospitable for them, right? So they can't grow food year round. They can only grow food at a certain amount of time. So they have a cap on how far their population can grow, and they have a cap on their resources.
Sorry, cutting you short, Zola. I've seen greenhouses that are mega greenhouses. They
And they
can
all
plant everything
and
they want to plant inside those greenhouses.
Confaru, I understand what you're saying with the greenhouse. I've seen those too. The reality of the only reason they had those greenhouses is because when Russia cut that oil off, all their fucking greenhouses fucking froze and lost all their food. See what I'm saying? So like, bro, when I tell you I'm very internationally connected in, oh boy, I am very internationally connected in. The reality is they are basically stuck between a rock and a hard place. Russia don't supply them with their natural resources, or they can't get it from Africa. They're fucked. They understand that they're fucked, right? So they're always going to need to either lean on between Russia or Africa, right? And Russia is harder to deal with, but Africa is easy to deal with because they ain't got the financial and the military might. But as soon as Africa at least get the understanding to have at least that military might part set up, Europe is gonna get swallowed, bro. Like in the next 60 years, bro, they may not even be Europeans, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, God, bro, it may not be as you see them, bro. Because like when you go down to like what is it? What's the name of that goddamn country? Like Britain and most of these Western European nations, bro. When I meet them Arab dudes and them Africans, y'all, they're fucking up. Y'all fucking all they women out there, bro. Y'all out here just dropping out babies like it ain't no joke. In about 60 years, bro, it's gonna be the land of the mixed people in a minute, bro. So God forbid they economy actually collapses, and Africans actually get a decent military standing going. There wouldn't even be Europeans no more, bro. As we know them. Like, I'm gonna say that much. As we know them. So when it comes to Europe on the grand scale, that motherfucker slides. But
me, I'm in the school of thought that African we need to shut down. We need to exclude the self from the rest of the world for a very long period of time and do business among ourselves. I don't know how that is possible, but that's what I think. We should like cut ourselves completely off from the rest of the world, and we work among ourselves, for a long period of time. We get stable before we start. We become part of this globalization, because when you get into globalization that you're at the bottom of the barrel, you're gonna remain at the bottom. You understand what I mean? So
yeah, basically. But I'm gonna go ahead and go because I got my DoorDash.
yeah, okay, that's fine. It was a good conversation, So I know. I think you subscribe to the Pan African Alliance.
Yeah, I'm subscribed. I'm subscribed to everybody, man. Appreciate the African Millennium, Kafaru. Might go ahead and get up out of here, man. See y'all guys.
All right, okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go as well. So keep on with the show. I hope someone calls in and you can continue. Yeah. So
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for calling.
yeah.
Yeah, no, this is actually perfect. This is actually perfect because I only wanted to have it for 2 hours today. Because it's pretty late and I have someone I need to go talk to. You know what I mean? I have someone I need to go talk to. But anyways, yeah. So the topic was a very interesting topic. Initially it was about Ghana's year return, and then we kind of talked a little bit. We got a little into the whole Congo, Africa. What's Africa supposed to do for each other? I guess why are some of these countries vulnerable like the way that they are? How can these countries be taken more serious in the international sphere? I do like that conversation. That reminds me of the conversation that was happening in Kaizo's channel this morning, where IC3 and to be honest, like I have nothing against IC3, but this is something that I really noticed, and I recently had to check myself too. Right, there's nothing wrong with talking about what you wish for African countries to do and everything. There's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like there's a certain level of criticism that some people give to African presidents, African governments, that they're just speaking from the comfort of their own life, being onlookers. Like, none of us are actual presidents, right? None of us are actual members of parliament. None of us actually have to make these really important decisions behind the scenes. So it's a double-edged sword. It's like you want to speak bad about the African leaders, you want to speak bad about the African government, but really, what are these deals that they're having with the West behind the scenes? Like, how do you know that when you stand up to the West that your life is not in danger? Like, how do you know that? And a lot of these people speaking, would they actually put their lives on the line like John Magufuli did? Would they actually put their lives on the line to go against the West's narrative? So, I mean, sometimes it's like I hate to excuse bad behavior, but I mean, we really honestly don't know the stress that a lot of these African leaders are going through, and I think that what our responsibility should be as a people is to be better backups, be better alternatives, so that if these governments do go against the West, they have other African leaders or they have members of their nations that can support them. I feel like that's something that's been lacking for such a long time. Look at a lot of these African governments, African revolutionaries who are sold out, and you look into these situations and you see that it was a fellow African who helped sell them out to the West. So I think we just need to work more on that aspect of it as opposed to just focusing on the individual, focus on the environment, focus on the proximity that these leaders are the people who are surrounded these leaders, can they be trusted as well? You know what I mean? Like we gotta think more about that. But anyways, that will segue into the next topic. The next topic is something along these lines. It's about the Ugandan president. The Ugandan president, Museveni, said that he's going to stand up against the West. He said that he wants to get rid of the American embassy in Uganda because he doesn't like what the Americans, he doesn't like the everybody is happy, the rainbow agenda. He does not like that. So he wants to stand against the US. Now, the question here is, who is going to be supporting Museveni? You know, I make fun of Miss 70 just like any other dictator. I really do. But I mean, if he has the guts to say, hey, I'm standing up to the US, I want to get rid of this embassy, what are the other Africans doing about it? Like, are they gonna. Anyway, so yeah, so that's what I'm gonna talk about next time. I will be streaming Tuesday. I'll be streaming on Tuesday. But guys, thanks for participating. Thanks for being here. And I'll see you guys soon. Probably see me for 5 minutes, 10 minutes on Kaizo's channel. Actually, Kafaro has a live tomorrow. Um, I'll try to show up. I'll try to like actually join the panel and join the conversation. But guys, once again, thanks for spending these 2 hours with me. And I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Bye.